the fabulous fabric from the land of the five rivers.
Two years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
Man, y'all already know what time it is.
Oh, you didn't know?
50-50.
Welcome to the 50-50 Show with PharoahNFL and the Severe Raider, the realest show for Raider Nation.
The perpetuation of the greatness of the Raiders to take a professional football team and give it a distinct characteristic that's different from all others.
Make sure to clock in, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Man, you already know what time it is, man. It's the 50-50 Show. Make sure to clock in. We're going live on both our channels. So, man, if you're first time joining us, definitely go ahead and just clock in on both channels. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Everybody watching the replay, you already know, leave a comment, like the video, and also hype the video too, man. Hype the video. Hey, man, that's a new thing on YouTube. It's actually been around for a little bit, but definitely hype the video if you whenever you get a chance. That really helps us out. That being said, we got another. The first week of training camp has completed. We had a couple of back-to-back, perfect timing, back-to-back padded practices. You know, that's kind of been the thing that we've kind of been harping on, is like, hey, we got to wait until the pads get on, and they've been playing in shorts. They're kind of getting used to, you know, kind of getting training camp going and getting the flow of things. And they finally had a padded practice, which was Monday and today. Obviously, everybody watching today, Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday. And we'll get into that. Obviously, the latest and greatest with the Raiders, and then obviously flag on the play, notable quotables, all that good stuff. We'll get into it, man. But Severe, man, what's going on with you, man? You on the road?
Yeah, on the road, man. Traveling for work, man. In the hotel room, man. Still have to make sure I show up for the 50-50 show, man. It's training camp, bro. So, obviously, I got to talk about it's the pass on, bro. So we have to talk about Jack Bech, man. I could not miss that. Could not miss that at all.
And if you don't know what the translation that means, that's what Severe means. Cold-blooded. I got to get that on SoundCloud. I got Dave Chappelle saying cold-blooded as Rick James. Shout out to Raider Way in the building, man. Salute to my guy Huey P in the building. Was good. Sacktown was good, man. Appreciate you pulling up. DK was good, brother. Appreciate you pulling up.
Father.
There you go. And man, we got everybody pulling up today, man. Chill Ray was good. Oh man, you just I'm just saying. I was just man, we've kind of said it every now and then, just looking on the writing on the wall, just seeing how his rookie season was and the new coaching staff. You're like, you know what? If Dante Thorne doesn't have a hell of an offseason in training camp, this is a brand new coaching staff, and if he struggles,
they're not going for it.
Man, and then you got rookies looking like they can contribute year one, especially, if you think about it, you would think Dante Thornton's role would be deep threat, kind of that speedy guy, which he has that speed, but then you got the Raiders did draft a speedy guy in the 6th round, Malik Benson, so we got to keep an eye on that. Oh yeah, you know what? I was like listening to the pod, man. I'll be listening to the pod last few weeks. I've been listening to the pod, so man, I gotta make sure the audio's on point. For real? Let me. I'm about to go check it right now. Sacktown. I'm about to go check it right now. That's strange.
Yeah, I think Sacktown got a new account.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I got you. I'm going to do that right now. But yeah, man, just to, I guess we won't waste any time. Yeah, facts. That's what I'm saying. I guess we can just get into it, man. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and hand out the wrench to my guy.
Sacktown up. Yeah, man.
He's committed, man. That's my
guy. Man. Hey, man, I gotta be here for the fam, man. Gotta be here for the fam, man.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man. Training camp is training camping, as they say, man. We have been hearing all the highs and the lows. We got the training camp superstars, the training camp duds, everything that comes along with it. It's all happening right now, man. We're hearing all the stories and the reports, man. I'm just interested to hear your takes on it. I know you've been on Twitter, on X, really following along, man.
Yeah. So okay. So a lot of it, like I said, the last couple of days have been the first pattern practice, but since training camp has started, there's been some guys that have stood out. Malik Benson's name, like my guy Chill Ray kind of said it right now. He might be taking his role. The reason why he's saying that is because almost you could probably look at every training camp practice and Malik Benson is making a play. And the guy that he's making a play with is Mendoza, because they're both on the second team. So they're developing a really good chemistry. Didn't Malik Benson play with Oregon quarterback by the name of, let's see, what's his name? That guy in Oregon, Dante Moore, right? It's funny that as soon as Malik Benson just comes onto the scene, he's developing really good rapport with the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, #1 pick Mendoza. Yeah. But yeah, he's making plays. At the end of the day, he's making plays, and at first I'm like, well, you know what? It's OTAs. Like, all right, guys who are fast are usually gonna look the part. But he's been making plays with pads on. You know what I mean? He was making plays. So he's one of the guys on offense, I would say, that stood out, has been consistently making plays outside of the usuals. The next season is gonna be the Brock Bowers show. Brock Bowers has been dominating training camp so far. Yeah. He's been dominating. dominating, which is not a surprise. And I think this year Bowers is really going to like shut like everybody up in terms of like, all right, he's hands down the best at tight end, best player at tight end, in my opinion. Like if he stays healthy, got to stay healthy, and that's partly the reason why people don't feel that way after his record-breaking, rookie year, historic rookie year. Guys like Trey McBride, who's good in his own right, but I'm gonna have to give the edge to my guy Bowers. But Bowers is what makes Bowers so interesting, especially combined with Kubiak, is that he could move him around. You can put him at wide receiver, you can put him at slot, you can put him in line at tight end, you can put him in the backfield, which we haven't really seen too much, where you put the ball in his hands and use his ability to his yak yards after catch ability. We haven't really seen that. We've seen that in college, creative ways that they got the ball in college, but not really in the pros. But that speaks to the state of the Raiders' offensive, coordinator position. They haven't really had the situation where it's kind of been dysfunctional since, to say the least. But Bowers right now is supposed to have a great season. That's so far. That's what we'll be hearing from training camp. Is Bowers been dominating. I'm going to stick on the offensive side of the football. I know I mentioned Malik Benson making plays. In terms of making plays, the offensive lineup hasn't changed, but Rick Dennison did make a comment, and I know I kind of always pointed to Rick Dennison saying that they're gonna want to figure out the 5 as soon as possible, because he values having guys pretty much having the same 5 out there so they can build that chemistry. But he made an interesting comment in today's presser where he says that they're not even finished with installs. They're not even finished with installs. And to be honest, he actually came out and just said, like, we'll probably have an idea by the second game of preseason, which I thought was interesting, because I think a lot of it has to do with they want to see what the guys look like when they put pads on. Like I said, the last couple of days that's happened. Guys like Glaze has an up and down camp. Like, he's been good. He's been great. I mean, Max Crosby's Max Crosby, but Kuntz also had his, he's got his way a little bit on Glaze too. So we got to throw that in there as well. But I think Glaze is going to be interesting to see too. If he
can be the weak link.
Yeah, possibly. Right now, there hasn't been any change in the starting 5. The ones has been consistently been the ones. And I'm going to go over it real quickly from left to right. Colt Miller, Spencer Buford, Linderbaum, we got JPJ, and obviously Glaze. But that being said, once they kind of finish with installs and then they get into like more padded practices, I think this is where we're going to see whoever's been kind of showing out. We might see some guys get an opportunity to play with the ones.
Exactly.
And that could be at either guard spots. Trey Zune, I know they had him at right tackle, but he was playing with the 2s. But he struggled today.
Yeah, struggled.
My guy, the unsung, no one's talking about him. I want to see him out there. I want to see him get an opportunity. But at the end of the day, he has to earn that, especially with this coaching staff. He's going to have to earn that. And that's Charles Grant. I want to see him get an opportunity, which we actually had a chance to hear from him today. Like, there were some updates about him having a few good run blocks, which is going to happen, obviously, because the pad's on. So we're going to be able to see that. But hopefully we'll be able to see get him opportunity. And if he's able to, show the coaching staff that he can do it, then maybe might be a chance where he can probably get that right tackle spot. But we'll see. I think offensive line, offensively, that's kind of been the thing, is that, like, all right, Mendoza's kind of been up and down. The offensive line has been consistently the same, but it could change, especially after they finish install, and then the more they play, they have these padded practices, and then obviously the games. They're going to determine. That's when we're going to really know what the starting 5 is going to be. So right now, it's like these are the guys that had it to begin with, but in reality, like, it still can change And then you talk about the quarterback play. It looks like right now Cousins,
It's clear
that he's going to be the starting quarterback. He's been consistently the guy that's kind of been playing well. Mendoza, he started his camp really well. Then he had a little bit of like a struggle, kind of like the last couple of practices, but he was able to bounce back. But this is part of the process, though. This is what you want to see at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's what you want to see. So that's that with the offensive side of the ball. I'm trying to think of anybody else that, like, Dante Thornton, man. I know we talked about early in the chat and we didn't really talk about it too much.
Yeah.
But Dante Thornton, man. And this is one I'm going to ask you, Severe. He's been struggling. And I've seen people that are at camp saying that he's been dropping passes, hasn't really been, standing out too much. You got guys kind of locking him up, young players. And I know you're probably going to start talking about another receiver, but let's focus on Dante Thornton real quick. I said earlier today that, I'm just going to call my shot. I'm going to say, man, he's going to be the surprise cut. And we talked about it beforehand that this could be a possibility, but now that we're seeing how everything is going, it's just like, man, is he gonna be the guy that's gonna be cut where people are gonna be like, wow, like, we're not surprised that you got cut, but we're surprised that you're getting cut after being drafted the year prior. Yeah. After being a 4th round pick the year prior, it will be a little bit of a surprise. Not heavily a surprise, because we have been kind of speculating on whether or not that can happen for quite some time. The issue is that if he can't make it on this team as a wide receiver, he's just not an NFL wide receiver, bro. That's just the way. If you can't make it on this wide receiver room, right, you're not an NFL wide receiver at all, bro. Like, we don't have a real number 1 receiver. We might not even have a true number 2 receiver, right? Like, basically everybody on our team is, in the past, their role has essentially been wide receiver 3s. And if you can't even beat out those guys for a spot on the team, like that says a lot more about you as a player than I think than anything else, because this is, outside of the Dolphins, I can't think of another wide receiver room in the NFL that's weaker than ours. And he's going to possibly get beat out by a 6th round rookie in Malik Benson. And if he doesn't make the team, that means also that either a UDFA guy beat him out, whether that be a Tompkins or EJ Williams, or old guy beat him out, like a Philip Dorsett or something like that. So if he doesn't make this team, it's because somebody that had no business beating him out beat him out. And we kind of saw the struggles early last year. I remember, like, it was rookie minicamp, and I kind of saw him go through a ladder drill. I was like, oh, this is disgusting. Like, this is terrible. Like, what does his footwork look choppy and messed up then? And ironically, Touchdown Tommy went through the drill like smooth for a guy that never played the position before. I was like, yo, you got a quarterback, showing better footwork and more fluidity in his footwork than a guy that's supposed to be a wide receiver. Like, this is concerning. And then, like, the struggles just continue. Just his inability to understand the nuances of playing a wide receiver position. We seen him, like, get pass interference on, like, running obvious pick plays in the pick situation. Him not understanding coverage, not understanding when to sit down against certain zone coverages. Then the dropping passes, like, all of this stuff has been accumulating. And it just goes back to the saying we've been saying, like, these Tennessee receivers, man, like, they're not preparing these guys to play in the NFL. And I honestly, that's not Josh Heupel's job. His job is not to prepare receivers to play in the NFL. It's to win games at the collegiate level. But yet and still, you're kind of doing a disservice to these guys, because you send them to the next level, and they're wholly unprepared for the type of football that's being played up here, man. And this, we've seen example after example. I think that's going to catch up to him when he recruits. It's going to catch up to him, man. Eventually. But the reason why it might not is because NIL. And they're getting drafted. And they're still getting drafted, yeah. But NIL, like, these guys, you might not want to go to Tennessee, but if they're going to, give you opportunity to make a whole bunch of money, and you're going to still put up a whole bunch of production, and still probably get drafted still, it's hard to say no. Yeah, it's still early in camp. And, like, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But like, man, it's just the brand new coaching staff. You struggled last year, and you had plenty of opportunities to like kind of, you know, to go out there and make some plays. And obviously, you know, it could be a situation which we were kind of surprised he was giving a big role far too soon, and when he was not ready. And obviously he's on a second coaching staff, second system. You know what I mean? It's just a tough situation. The only way that I can see him staying on the roster is like obviously he puts up a fight. You know, he finishes the camp strong, and then you got Spytek in your corner.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure Spytek doesn't want that on his resume too. He's like, hey, we want to make sure, you know what I mean, you could find a way to get a role. But I'm like, man, like, especially for him, what makes it tough for him, like, is he contributing to special teams? You know, is he like, that's the problem right there. That's what makes him a high cut candidate, is like a high risk cut candidate. Is the fact is like, he only has one role and he's not fulfilling that role right now. And it's like, you're not, and you got guys that are outplaying you or making more plays than you. And I'm guys like Malik Benson, who's drafted in the 6th round, is making plays left and right. You know, and then we could talk about Jack Besh. You know, the Jack Besh conversation always starts, and you know, I'm not gonna name no names, but I know people are high on Jack Besh, or they're not. It's not just being high on Jack Besh, but like they feel like Jack Besh could be a real contributor on this offense. But like they're like, oh well, wait till the pads come on. And then, you know, his last couple of days, pads have come on, and I think he had some moments where he like won, I think, on one-on-ones, but
that a moment.
Yeah,
on a double move that, you know, I think it was against Hezekiah Masters too. I think it was like a sluggo or like a stop and go route where I'm pretty sure Hezekiah, being a guy that's a ball hawk and tries to get ball production, he probably bit hard on the comeback route or you know, the underneath route, and then, you know, obviously Jack Besh was able to take advantage of that. So Hezekiah Masters, he should learn from that. But, you know, but that's good by Jack Besh, as understanding a guy is an aggressive player and using that to your advantage. You know, so that I will say, good job by him. But you done made one play. It can't be like this. This is all we've heard out of 2 camps so far, right? Like, you really haven't jumped off the screen at all. Q Meyer said early on, like, he hasn't really popped. He really hadn't done anything throughout this entire training camp until the one big play we heard about today. And we've been hearing about Brock dominating. We've been hearing about Malik Benson every single practice. We even heard good things about Mayer early on, right? We've heard some good things about the chemistry that Kirk is starting to find with Naylor and a little bit with Trey Tucker. Like, we're hearing about all these other people that are playing well. We ain't heard a dang on thing about Jack Besh until the play today.
Until today. And we haven't heard anything from Dante Thornton. And like, I'm hoping for the best, man. I don't even want to trash on anybody like that, but like, man, it's just tough situation. But we'll see. It's early in camp. There's plenty of time for, you know, guys to bounce back, make plays. There's gonna be plenty of padded practices. There's gonna be also situations where they go into the games and make plays. There's gonna be joint practices. Those are gonna be big time evaluating moments, is when they have the joint practices. They have obviously the preseason games and things like that. And there's more padded practices too. So we'll see how it shakes out. But like, yeah, Jack Besh's name is never a name that we really hear too much about. And we're starting to hear a lot of the guys who are actually at training camp kind of make comments and say, yeah, just, you know, Jack Besh doesn't really separate too much. But, you know, you can make a point that maybe that's not his game. He's not a huge separator. He's just one of those guys that's a physical hands catcher and whatever the case may be. But yeah, we'll see, man. Salute to everybody pulling on. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell.
It's like, look, we talk about like the joint practices. We made Jack Besh versus Derek Stingley, a Kamari Lassiter. Come on, You're gonna have to do something against the second unit. He ain't doing nothing against neither one of them. It's gonna have to be like the second and third string dudes he trying to have to get off on. And then, he better hope that the start defensive line ain't out there, because you're gonna have Glaze against Will Anderson or Daniil Hunter, and that ain't gonna go pretty as well.
All I'm gonna say is, like, Steve Smith is almost undefeated. I'm gonna say almost because I don't know where he's been wrong. I'm sure he's been wrong. Everybody's been wrong. No one's perfect.
Yeah,
they're all gonna have, like, it's all educated guesses at the end of the day. But the reason why I'm bringing up Steve Smith, because he really was like, Jack Bech is too slow. This is when he was coming out. Before he even stepped foot on the Raiders facility, he evaluated him as he was just too slow. He's a tight end, yada, 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 this, that, and the third. But, like I said, it's early in camp. We'll see how it progresses. Like I said, when pads come on, game times, game situations, things like that. So both, but it's just, if we're gonna have winners or losers so far, I would say I would put Bech and Thornton right now on the loser side in terms of, like, where their arrow is going right now. Like, it's either in the middle, like where it's neutral for maybe Bech, and Dante Thornton is kind of like on a down arrow. It's like, man, this, because you got guys like Benson, who's like basically kind of competing for people. Like he sounds like a guy like that probably needs to get more playing time this year. He needs to get more snaps. More than you would probably want to give a guy like Dante Thornton, because where do you trust them to actually, if he's making plays left and right in training camp in different ways of getting the ball, and he's also playing special teams as well as, winning on the outside, and you can move around inside. It's like, man, all right, well, maybe Malik Benson could be a guy that can contribute early on. So that's something to keep an eye on. And then before we leave offense, three things real quick. Running back position, Mike Washington. That's the guy I'm curious to see, like, in action, because they, from what everybody's saying, he looks explosive out there. Surprisingly, I haven't really heard too much about. And to be fair, I'm not sure if a guy like him would, you would probably want to see him more where, there's the pads come on. That's, and it's true for running backs too as well.
Yeah,
I haven't heard too much about Genty.
Yeah, this is not the environment for Genty to shine. This is not his environment. He's a break tackle kind of guy. Like, that's where he makes his. But the receiving game, I haven't heard a lot about him. I know they want to use him more in that area. I haven't heard a lot about him catching passes out of the backfield, but that is an area I think they're going to expand upon greatly. In his game, and I think he's talked about it as well, where he was actually working on, like, running routes and stuff this offseason because he expected a bigger role as a receiver. So I really haven't heard too much about him in that area either. Maybe like a play or two, but yeah. Other than that, in terms of as a runner, like, this is not the environment he's going to shine in. It's like it's not like a Jack Bech where you would expect something to show up, right? With Genty, as long as he still looks smooth, still looks, balance still looks good, vision is improving, still showing good hands as a receiver out of the backfield, still making progress in terms of his pass pro, making the right reads in that area. I think he'll be solid there. But in terms of, like, Thornton and Jack Bech, both those guys are solidly in the down. Like, the only thing saving Jack Bech is that he was a second round pick. Like, that's really the main thing saving him.
Yeah.
And like, because he's a good blocker too in the receiver position.
He's a good blocker, and he's gonna have a specific type of role on his team. But then it's gonna make you question, second round pick, and that's your role. Like, you know what I mean? Like I do have questions, and I'm not giving up. I'm still holding out hope. I'm just hoping. I'm letting you know I'm hoping, but like, he's a good blocker. I'm hoping that he can develop some type of, like, be a role player on offense.
And that's the cut, bro.
it's, you know, it's tough. But you know what? And you were looking at this earlier, and other people have told me about this too. And I'm looking back at it, even years past. The second round is kind of risky. Not risky, but more like it's a lot of misses in the second round. And it's not just the Raiders, just overall around the league. Like it's so if you look at Spytek's picks, you can argue and say that they've been super conservative. They could have went for a guys that like, oh man, like, you know, high ceiling guys, but don't, you know, but they went after they went after the high floor players. And that's like Beshes and the Treydon Stukes. But more so with Besh, because Besh is a guy like, you know, coming out. He was coming out. I was thinking that he was going to contribute right away. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think I was going to have to wait this long to see him be productive. Like, but you know, it's a tough situation. But last but not least on offense, I'll say this. I'll throw another guy that's in a down arrow is not Jack Besh, but
yeah, I would say.
But Glaze.
Yeah.
Glaze. Because everybody had all their eyes on like the guard spots, especially right guard. They're like, oh man, JPJ. But so far, JPJ hasn't really, you know, gave way to that spot. I don't think no one's really got in with the ones yet.
Yeah.
But it seems like with the struggles that we've seen Glaze had in camp, I'm like, maybe there might be a possibility they might put someone out there. You know, so I'll put Glaze in there in the down arrow. I'm like, and I just don't feel like he fits this scheme too. They might give him a chance to hold on to that spot, but like, which they are. He's literally been the starter the entire offseason up until this point. But like with his struggles, you know, with other guys, young guys that can possibly, you know, show you what they hit. Like it could be a Trey Zune, or Charles Grant. Throw his name out there. You know, that could be a possibility. But how do you feel about Glaze?
I mean, I put it like this. You know, Coach Ricky Dennison, I know we talked about it ad nauseum about him making that statement about how he likes to have like a cohesive unit, and he wants to got 5 guys to have like a lot of reps together, because that's what he focuses on when he's building an offensive line, right? Building a unit. But the fact that he essentially came out and said, "Oh, we're not done with the install," so like nothing for the starting 5 is really set in stone. I mean, you're probably looking at 2 spots because it's not going to be Colton Miller, it's not going to be Linderbaum. You know, it's probably not going to be JPJ. So you're looking at Burford and you're looking at Glaze. And so the fact that he said that, and then we're hearing about, you know, DJ Glaze out here getting beat by like a drum, essentially, like every practice, it kind of makes you think that, you know, he's sending a message to DJ Glaze, like, look, brother, like, if you don't kick it into high gear very soon, you're going to find yourself on the outside looking in of the starting lineup. And, you know, if we got, and depending on who it is, right, if it's a Charles Grant or a Trey Zune, why even keep you around? Like, why am I keeping you here on this team? We got 2 guys that can play that position. We got some versatility in the middle of our offensive line as well, with a few guys that can play multiple spots. Like, why should I keep you here? Like, why, if you're not going to be starting, why are you deserving of a spot on this roster? So it could be like an all or nothing situation for DJ Glaze, where if he isn't the starter and doesn't solidify himself as a starter, he could end up being a casualty. And I believe he's on the, now I think he has 1 more year after this year, right? He's the same year as Brock and JPJ. So I think he has 1 more year after this year, being a later round pick. So like, yeah, it could be a situation where, you know what, he's gone into the last year of his contract next year. Like, if we don't need you around here anymore, why keep you?
It's funny too, because Brennan Thorne released like his rankings for offensive line for each position group around the league. He ranked basically every team's tackle, guard, you name it, and center. You know, not every player on the depth chart, the starting players.
Starters, yeah.
On the depth chart. And Glaze was ranked 31 out of 32 at right tackle. So, man, that's why I'm like we might as well put someone out there where we can evaluate and see, like, okay, is this a guy that we can develop, get better? Like, because we kind of seen what we have in Glaze. We know that this is a scheme that doesn't fit him. You know, maybe I'm just saying, like, just throw someone out there. If they show like they can compete and like some potential out there, let's see if we can develop that. If not, look, we can go into next year's draft understanding exactly what we need to do, and that's pretty much upgrade, you know, at right tackle especially. You know, but that's just me. But we'll see how they like go about evaluating that position, because the way Rick Dennison's saying, like, he was just like, man, we haven't even started doing that. Like right now, we've been mixing and matching in drills, but as far as a team, like, we haven't finished installs. We won't really know until like the second game of preseason. So next week will be the first game. Obviously, there's going to be more padded practice throughout training camp. So we'll see what happens. We'll be here to talk about it. DK says, outside of like today, I mean, today was the second day of padded practice, and I heard, you know, he already had a few good reps when they ran the football. He has some good blocks, but you know, like I said, it's early, so we'll see. That's something to keep an eye on. That being said, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. I guess we can move on to the defensive side of the football. Max Crosby has been dominating. You already know what's going to happen. You know, he has a huge chip on his shoulder. I'm sure he was embarrassed about the whole situation. You know, he thought he was a smooth criminal. It was like, oh man, love you, Raider Nation, but I'm out. I'm going to the Ravens so I can win me a Super Bowl. And then that didn't work out, so he had to come back, tuck his tail back, and then come back in. And then, you know, my bad, y'all. I'm still a Raider for life, and all that type of situation. And I have no hard feelings against Max Crosby. At the end of the day, like, players have the right to basically make decisions for their life, for their family, their career, all that stuff. I don't really take it too serious. There might be other people who might be like, oh man, you traitor, da 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 da. Nah, I don't really care. I mean, Max has been with the team for like since day one. You already know what type of player Max is. He's never been a guy that's kind of like takes any plays off. Maybe you can argue here and there, or whatever the case may be. You might argue where he could have did this better, or with this, or have had a better snap here and there. But in the day, like, Max has always been a guy that we looked at as a big leader on this football team, face of the franchise type. And he's been showing out. He's been showing out, man. He's been showing out so far in training camp. He's been dominating. Kuntz has had his moments too. He's had his moments. I know today Crawford and Kuntz also were in there, you know, setting the edge and stopping the run, which is a good sign for guys that, you know, that was something that you wanted to see show up on their game, because like we know that they can probably get after the pass rusher, get after the pass or get after the quarterback, especially Kuntz. But if he can stop the run, you know, because Kwity Paye, I don't know if that's his game. You know what I mean? So like if Kuntz can show out, then you can obviously put him in obvious passage. I don't know what that situation is going to be like. Is it going to be like Kwity Paye the starter to begin with, and they're going to, you know, we heard him today say that, you know, they've been moving me around from edge to linebacker to Sam linebacker to the 3 techniques, so they're going to be moving him around. So that's going to be interesting to see. So I wonder how they're going to incorporate guys like Kuntz and things like that. But yeah, man, the defense is obviously, you know, something I'm intrigued about. But like the one thing that caught my eye though, not gonna lie, and I noticed it right away. I'm like, you know what? I haven't really heard too much of Stooks like that. And the reason is that like he hasn't really kind of stood out. He hasn't made any terrible plays.
He stood out.
Yeah, I mean, overall, like, I think he just hasn't made, like, he hasn't stand out yet. And I think that's part of the reason why I think there's been an overload of kind of like having him learn multiple positions on that defense. And that's the thing. They when you talk about versatility, I get it. You know, you want him to be he has a versatile skill set, But the thing is that he's coming in and he's gonna have probably a bigger learning curve, just because like he's gonna have to learn how many positions are on that defense. He's gonna be what, nickel, but be safety, free safety, strong safety. And to be honest with you, like I heard people throw out like, oh, he's gonna play that Kyle Hamilton. I don't even think that's not his game. Like I look at him as like that free safety type and has that ability to come down and make a tackle. Not a guy that not like a Emmanuel McNeil Warren or something like that. A guy like a closer to the line of scrimmage type of guy. You know, I feel like we already have that type on our defense, but like, I guess with this defense, it's going to be a multiple defense. Everybody's going to have multiple roles and they're going to be able to move around like a chess piece. But I feel like right now with Stooks, he's kind of getting caught up into that, you know, I think he's hitting that like, all right, he's trying to figure things out before he can play fast. So I'm not crazy concerned, but like he was a guy that like, hey, you know, I liked him coming out, but right now it's like he's not making as much plays as we are. And the thing is, he's been with the twos. He hasn't been with the ones yet. He's been with the twos.
Yes, I mean, in terms of Max Crosby, you know, like I never get mad at a player for wanting to leave. It's just how you handle, you know, how you handle it. Don't be like, don't be a fraud about it. Just be fraud. Just keep it a buck. Like, hey, you know what? I love Raider Nation, but this situation ain't working. You feel me? Like, don't try to act like it's something that it's not. And he's all the time, I'm a Raider. I'll always be a Raider, and yada yada yada. And then, you know, behind the scenes, he's pushing for a trade. You know, like when he like the first. I think we talked about the story before, right? When he was recounting everything, he talking about he got traded, and when he saw the news, like the first thing he didn't think like, oh my God, I'm no longer a Raider. Oh my God, like I can't believe I'm not going to be suiting up, you know, in the silver and black next year. The first thing he did was, let me call my agent. You feel me? It's like that's your first thought. Like this is the team you care so much about, and the first thing you thought about when you saw you got traded was, oh my God, call my agent. Like, all right, bro. So like it kind of lets me know like where your head was at with the whole situation. And now that, you know, you've been sledded out, you know, the Ravens like, you know, used you and then got rid of you and discarded you. Now you want to go back to the faithful guy that treated you right. It's like, all right, you know, like I you know, you kind of use goods now, bro. Like you still a good player, but it's like the luster is kind of off you a little bit because of how the whole situation went down. So obviously I know he's gonna want to be a revenge season, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna go 110% now. It's like, well then what were you going before? So were you reserving some effort before, and now you're gonna give that effort? It's like, bro, like so what are we saying here? So I mean, like I said, I don't believe all the talk, bro. You gotta show up on the field, stay healthy for a full season. Don't leave your teammates hanging out to dry because you're chasing TFLs or chasing sacks or trying to make splash plays instead of just making the correct plays. Do the things you're supposed to do. Handle your responsibilities, and then, you know, maybe we'll see how everything goes from there. But so yeah, Max still, like, look, I'm still mad about those first round picks, to be honest with you. But you know, it is what it is. And in terms of you know, Kieran Crawford, we'll see with Kieran Crawford. We'll see. We kind of know what Kuntz can be when Kuntz is healthy, and he's kind of unleashed. We don't know what his role is going to be just because of the guys like Kwity Paye and because how they're moving Quay Walker around. So, you know, that could be a diminished role for Malcolm Kuntz. But he's put it on wax, right? We've seen him like be a force as a pass rusher. So, you know, it just so happened the very next year, you know, when he's having one of the best camps of his career, everybody's saying how great he looks and how much of an impact player he's going to be. He tears his ACL, like running out onto the practice field, right? Catastrophic injury. We always hear that it takes like a full year for you to get back. So now he's kind of entering that time where he'd be in that recovery phase where, okay, no, not only is it the physical part that's mended as well, but it's the mental aspect as well, where you've gone through a full year. You played football, you haven't hurt yourself again. You can start to trust your body to not fail you, and you can start, you know, kind of getting back to what you once were. And now we get to trade on Stoops. My dude, Treydon Stukes. So the thing about Treydon Stukes is it's a few things. Right. First of all, Treydon Stukes, he didn't play a lot of safety in college, right? His primary role in college was playing close to the line of scrimmage, was playing essentially a nickel role. That's what he did most for the Wildcats. Because think about the Arizona, they had Dalton Johnson and they had Genesis back there, right? So they had two guys that were like safeties that could essentially play both of the safety roles. Dalton Johnson played both of the safety roles, so did Genesis. So they had two guys that can do that. So Treydon, he played outside corner early in his career, and he also played mostly in the nickel. So that's a role he should be comfortable with. And also, Treydon Stukes is 37 years old, bro. Like you should be hitting the ground running, dog. Like I don't want to hear about no old ass rookie out here. Oh, I'm going through growing pains. Like, nah, bro, you're not. You're past puberty. You shouldn't be going through growing pains. You a grown ass man. So I don't want to hear about you're behind everybody and all of this, bro. You mentally you should be 10 steps ahead of these people. So the fact that you're not, like, because the physical part it shouldn't be the issue, because we know he's a good athlete. He ran a good 40, like, you know, he's a fast guy. I think he did well in all of his drills. So it's not the physical part that he's struggling with. It's the mental part. And the fact that you're much older than a lot of these rookies, like I shouldn't expect you to be having those same kind of hurdles mentally that a normal rookie would have, because you're not a normal rookie. You're a super senior.
Right. And I think to be fair though, like there are some people who feel like he projects better as a free safety. He projects better as a free safety than he does at nickel corner or outside corner. And the Raiders are kind of like trying to see, well, it's not even trying to see. That's why they drafted him, because they valued his versatility, and they wanted a guy that had experience, obviously playing in all three positions in the defense. And I'm sure they have like a vision of how they want a lot of players on the defense. You know what I mean? I think today someone was asked about like what we describe the Raiders defense, and they're like multiple. You know, everybody's gonna have multiple roles on his defense. So from the Quay Walkers, you mentioned Quay Walker at linebacker. He's not just gonna be playing linebacker. He's also gonna be on the edge. He's gonna be blitzing. He's gonna be getting after quarterback. He's gonna be covering guys. You know what I mean? You mentioned like Stukes. It's just not Stukes. It's gonna be the Teron Johnson who's gonna be playing nickel and safety, and those are the guys that are starting right now. Those are the guys that are playing the ones right now. Stukes has exclusively played in the twos, so he's had a he's a guy that's like basically competing. He's fighting and learning, trying to get an opportunity to play with the ones. But right now, which might be, it's a good problem to have if you think about it. You know what I mean? The Raiders brought in Teron Johnson, and like we kind of went into it saying like, okay, Teron Johnson, who's been a career nickel back corner, that's going to be his role. But like the way the Raiders see it is like, oh yeah, Teron, you know how to play nickel. Yeah, we're going to play you at safety too. We'll play you at nickel. We're going to play you at safety. We're going to play you at this, that, and the third. So everybody that they got on this defense, it's not just going to be one position, one role. They're not going to. So everybody's going to have multiple roles, and that's Stukes is just in the process of figuring that out. But to be fair though, I think there's a lot of people who evaluated Stukes and say like, you know what? Yeah, he played nickel. Yeah, he played outside corner, but I'm not sure if he would be a guy that would play well down to down consistently at those spots. He's a guy that like would be better at free safety because he has the ability, the range, but not have that man-to-man ability that you would think that he would have. But you know, hey, that's how what some people would say. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. But
that's a fair point.
But when I looked at it, and I know me and you were on the same boat. Like when I was looking at the Raiders defense, we don't have a free safety. We don't have nobody that can play the deep part of the field. Like we got guys that can play closer to the line of scrimmage, but we don't have the guys that have range. Yeah. So Stukes is one of the guys. Like, hey, Stukes is this guy, but the Raiders are like, yeah, he can do that, but he gonna also be closer to the line of scrimmage and doing all this. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But the issue I have is that's true, right? Like I think a lot of people like, so remember, even when you were telling me about him, you were initially telling me about him, when you were looking him up, like he was listed at like corner. Like you were like looking up safety, you're like, I don't see him here. Then we went to corners. He was listed under corners. So like, you know, there are some people that saw him as a safety, and there's some people that saw him as a corner. But my problem is that he's been running with the tools. Like, motherfucker, you're not even starting free safety. Bro,
Yeah.
you're like, and who would that conceivably even be? We don't even think we had like a real starting free safety on the squad. I guess maybe they have Jeremy Chin in that role or Isaiah Palomar. I don't know who they have in that role, but it's like, bro, you're not even like when we drafted Stooks. The one thing is like, I didn't hate the pick, but that wasn't my preference there. But you know, one thing we both agreed on was like, hey, you know what? If nothing else, this dude is a day one starter. And he still could be, right? It's we ain't set the starting lineup yet. We ain't set the roster yet. So that ship hasn't sailed. But the fact that he not like you would want the guy to be like, hey, he come in, I'm a snatch this spot. I'm gonna show y'all I'm second round pick. I'm snatching this job in the secondary. I'm solidifying myself as a starter. It's like, bro, he out there getting cooked by Devin Tompkins, who was a 5'8" receiver we just signed 7 days ago. You feel me? So it's like, bro, like I can't have this out of my second round pick. So, you know, he needs to kick it in high gear because as we've already kind of alluded to, like time is moving, like things are progressing very quickly. Like we're about to be in the preseason next week, right? So then we're going to be in the joint practices, and then like, you know, like by the time you get to that second preseason game, that's almost like the third preseason game used to be. That's where you kind of start to see who your roster really is and who your starters really are. So if he hasn't kind of separated himself from the pack and stamped himself as I'm a legit starter on this team, you know, by that point we can really start to worry. Right now, well, is there a mild concern? Yeah, but you don't want to overreact too much. But he needs to make some moves fast.
True, but then he does have veterans in front of him. Based off what they want him to do, they're asking other guys to do the same thing as well. Teron Johnson, same thing. We want you to play at safety, and we also want you to play nickel. Jeremy Chin, that was his role last year. Now it's going to be probably his role again this year. Same thing. So like guys who've done it, got vets that's been there. That are established and know what they need to do to play. They're all like kind of in front of him right now. So, like you said, it's early, but it is slightly I'm like, oh man, like I thought you would hit the ground running, but especially when you see other rookies around the league, DBs kind of making plays, other guys making plays left and right. You know what I mean? Like, and we'll get into that in a second, but guy Masses, he continues to make plays. So right now, the battle at number 2 corner right now, it's like we're seeing Darian Porter out there. We're seeing Masses out there. Cameron Richardson, he's getting an opportunity with the ones at CB2. So that's something that we got to keep an eye on. I think Masses, obviously, we got to put him in the risers, like the upward trend of like a guy that's like, he's a riser right now. So he's a guy that has an opportunity. Another guy who had an opportunity, I think for the first time actually, opportunity with the ones was Gerard McCoy. McCoy, and that's something that we got to keep an eye on because we all know the talent. It's right now. It's just an ability of the coaching staff trusting, like, okay, how you feeling? Feeling good. And then him just like continue to make plays, which he has. He's also been, he's also made some mistakes. He had some like a PI the other day, got beat by certain players, but there was plays where he was just locking up guys. So like the talent is not the question. I'm just saying. What's more concerning if the wide receivers are like dominating or the deep or secondary dominating?
Oh, the wide receivers. Oh man, if these wide receivers are dominating our secondary, bro, we have no hope. I'd be like, if these dudes are dominating, that's why I'm so concerned, man. When I hear about these dudes not playing well, I'm like, bro, that's not what I want to hear. That's not what I want to hear. They're young. They're rookies. So the rookies, we want to give them grace, right? We want to give them grace. We want to let them go through those growing pains, make those mistakes. I said it before. Stooks was a walk-on, right? Stooks was a walk-on, so he wasn't a guy that was even recruited. He had to walk on and earn his spot on the team. So he's used to having, to go through some early struggles and fight and scrap and make his way onto a roster that way. So I'm hoping that, these early struggles kind of ignites that part of a competitor inside of him, and he wakes up and he starts to, establish himself as the talent that, a lot of people felt that he was coming into the draft. But yeah, bro, if we start to hearing that these, because really, like, only people we've been hearing about making plays consistently is really Brock, and to a lesser degree, like Michael Mayer. Those have been the main guys making the most plays.
And that's the thing. Brock, Michael Mayer, those are guys, established guys. I'll say Brock more so because, like, he's supposed to have a breakout.
Way more so, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he is, like, arguably the best player at his position. So it's kind of like it's kind of the same deal with Max. Like, yeah, Max is dominating, but it's like, man, it's tough to be hard on an offensive lineman without pads on, like, and Max is dominating. It's just like, Max is Max, at the end of the day. And I'm sure it's just one-on-one type situations. They're not throwing chips. They're not, like, game planning against Max. They're just letting Max kind of just do his thing. So it's not gonna be same deal with, like, Brock Bowers. Like, he's just one-on-one situations. He's doing what he's supposed to do, and but in real settings, real life settings, meaning like a real game setting, I'm sure there's gonna be a game plan. It's gonna be, better situational football with against like a good opponent.
A guy like Max. But you also got to think of, like I was saying before, right? Like, Max is coming off a knee surgery. Like, do you want to be the dude? Like, we saw what just happened with Shamar Stewart, right? We see what happened with, we'll get into it later, but with the edge from the 49ers. Like, do you want to be the dude that hurt Max Crosby in a one-on-one drill, or is that what you want? Like, no, you don't want to be the dude that, like, ended Max's career in 11-on-11s in August. So, right. Obviously, do you go out? Do you want to conceivably? Do you want to think people go all out on every rep? Yeah, but, like, is there a part of you mentally that's holding back because you see the guy in front of you is a franchise, player, and he's coming off for surgery? I'm sure part of that, creeps into a guy's mind. So, it puts Glaze in a little bit of a tough spot. But the fact that he also got beat by Kuntz, it's like, all right, I can't give you no passes.
Yeah, I think the outside of Max, Max and obviously Bowers are going to be the two guys that's going to stand out on both offense and defense, best players on both sides. But young player on the rise, supposed to have a breakout year. It seems like he keeps coming up. Players keep talking about him. I think Kwity Paye said that he was one of the guys that won, like, a workout award, a weight room award that was handed out to one of the players, along with Tonka Hemingway. Tonka Hemingway's been a guy that people constantly been talking about, and people are high on. Is going to have, like, a breakout year, which is a great sign because he, obviously he plays that. They're going to have him play 3 technique on his defense. They're going to move him around, I'm sure, but, like, they're going to have him, like, rush from the inside. He's supposed to have a breakout year. I think you were telling me earlier, saying that he's been working out with Max early on. So, like, the work ethic, it seems like he's going to be putting it all together, and hopefully he has a breakout year in his second year. So that's a guy that's so far so good. Like, we've been hearing great things, making plays. So hopefully he's a guy that's going to be standing out this season. But what's your thoughts on Tonka Hemingway? Because if he's able to contribute, you start thinking about the pieces that we have on this defensive line, and then you add a Tonka Hemingway along with the Adam Butler, and then and okay, now you kind of see things kind of like meshing well. If the Raiders can stay healthy, along with this linebacking core, Kobe Dean, Quay Walker, and then Quay Walker. It seems like the Raiders are going to use Quay Walker like he was supposed to be used his entire career.
Exactly.
He's a physical freak, athletic phenom, moving around. He has experience with that green dot playing in the middle, which is a great thing for the Raiders, because then if Kobe Dean, who has an injury-prone history at times, you can easily slot him in the middle. But the Raiders are not having, Quay Walker out there, trying to call plays and put everything together. That's the Kobe Dean's job. Quay Walker's gonna be the guy that's just gonna go out there and just play fast, play free, and just go after and play to his best ability. I mean, like, they're gonna have him getting after the. That's the one thing I like with his skill set is that, man, having them blitz off the edge with Max on the same side. That's gonna be crazy if they figure out a way to like get him going in that department. But how do you feel about? Let's start with Tonka Hemingway.
Yeah, man, Tonka. I mean, that's great to hear. You know, I wasn't a real big fan of the Tonka pick. I know mainly because we picked him in front of Pegues, and I liked Pegues better because of his versatility. But now, showing up in the league, looks like Tonka has proven not only to be the better player, but also the more versatile player as well. And the fact that he's been, you know, working out with Max, putting in this time. I think he ended up being second in the team in terms of sacks last year, which is crazy because we had a 7th overall pick on the team. So like the fact that, you know, Tonka Hemingway ended up second in sacks is ridiculous. But like he's a guy that can that, you know, he showed some of that weapon.
Was like what 3 or 4 his last like 4.
Yeah, I think he had that. I think he had like 4.5 or something like that. But maybe he was tied with Laulu. I want to say Laulu might have been up there too. But no, he had like yeah, I want to say but I want to say he finished second in the team in sacks. So like he showed some of that prowess last year, and he finished the season really, really strong. And he's kind of continued that into this offseason, and we're kind of hoping that transfers into the regular season of this year, because if he does, you know, the defensive tackle room, we have a pretty deep room there. And, you know, you look at Adam Butler, look at Jonah Laulu, you look at him, you know, Pegues he showed some flashes as well. So we got a few guys there, and I'm not sure if it will happen, but it could potentially push a guy like Thomas Booker or maybe even a guy like Adam Butler off the roster if they want to just go with the complete youth movement. Like that wouldn't surprise me 100%. I think Adam Butler has tremendous value as a veteran player and an unselfish player and as a leader of that unit. But if they wanted to go completely with the youth movement, I wouldn't be surprised if guys like Booker or Butler didn't make it, just because of some of the other guys that are coming up behind them. And then guys like Kwity Paye also, you know, being versatile enough to kind of play that 3 technique a little bit. So it's interesting to see. But yeah, man, I'm expecting to see some good things out of Tonka this year. And then Quay, it's funny because Quay was telling the story, and he was like talking about like Max Crosby, because a lot of people aren't used to seeing the off-ball linebacker with Quay's measurables. And he was like, you know, he was like one they was practicing, and then like Max Crosby was looking at him and was laughing. And then I don't know if Quay was trying to press him, but he asked him later on, like, yeah, what was you laughing at? And then Max Crosby was like, man, you're big. And I was like, okay, Max, pause. First of all, dog. Like he's like, but he's also like, yo, like he's not used to seeing an off-ball linebacker with like that's basically the same measurables as Max, and a guy that can move like Quay Walker moves in terms of, you know, his lateral agility, his speed moving forward. Like to have that kind of player on defense, and he has the intelligence to, you know, wear the green dot when Nakobe wasn't there. Now that Nakobe is back, he's kind of still helping facilitate that communication. I think he's going to be a very important chess piece on this team. And I forgot who it was, but somebody was talking about like they felt Quay Walker is one of the most underrated linebackers, or one of the better linebackers in the league, and he's like extremely underrated. I forgot who it was. It's somebody on the team during their interview. So, man, I'm glad to see that we're actually utilizing him properly, not just kind of pigeonholing him in the one spot, using his versatility and that athleticism to our advantage. And also that gives us the ability to disguise, you know, for defenses to not know where Quay Walker is going to be, or not to know what kind of defense we're in, because of the versatility that Quay Walker brings anytime he's on the field.
Kwity Paye, man, shout out to my guy Ruben Mill with the super chat. He says Kwity also mentioned Shine Sloan making plays, and I seen reports with him getting burned with the ones. Is he above Crawford already? I've heard Sloan.
Crawford was taking mental reps that day, so he went a little
jumping in the pool. Yeah, man. I'm not sure. It's fair to say. I mean, if he's getting ones, well, I don't think I've heard like Crawford getting ones. I know I've heard Crawford's name for the first time. It felt like this training camp with the pads coming on. Obviously today, him and Coots kind of like getting into the run game and kind of getting some tackle for loss TFLs, or getting some run stops. But we'll see. I think Sloan is a guy that is. I think he's an undrafted guy. He's a guy that like the Raiders kind of are. Hopefully they found a diamond in the rough. We'll see. Crawford has always been a guy though that like I don't think they got him to be like, oh, he's going to contribute year one. I think he's a guy that they got like saying that they believe in his skill set and they feel like they can develop it. I from what I've seen and what I know from Crawford, I'm not going to really get to be too hard on. See, I can understand like you kind of being a little bit down on Stooks, for example, or even a Jack Besh, guys that we kind of like, all right, these guys are going to contribute right away. Oh, okay. And then they don't contribute. Then it's like, all right, what's going on here? Like, these are guys that like we expect to have, at least be a starter day one or contribute or have a role day one. Crawford, on the other hand, I think that there's a little developmental aspect to him. And I think that, but shout out to Sloan, man. He's making plays. So if he's getting an opportunity to go with the ones, he's making enough plays to do that. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, man. See, my thing with Crawford is that, first of all, we drafted him extremely high in the first round. We were looking at all the guys that we passed up to take Crawford. It was like Emmanuel Pregnon, Ted Hurst, Brazel, who you told me who was hurt, Jacoby Lane.
Jacoby Lane, by the way, shout out to, like, man, he is right now killing. He's killing Ravens camp right now. He's one of the stars in Ravens training camp. It's Jacoby Lane. And Jacoby Lane would have been perfect for this receiver group in terms of like, we really don't have a guy like that can go up and go get it. And he's making plays left and right, which is like, man, I'm hoping for the best for Crawford. So I'm not going to like be too tough, but it's just tough when you hear like guys that are drafted, just probably Raider trauma a little bit, but
yeah, man. But look, but it's not like this is not like Monday morning quarterbacking where we're like, oh my God, Ted Hurst was the name I've been saying early on. Jacoby Lane was a guy I was saying I really like as a sleeper wide receiver. Like these were guys who we had already identified. Yeah. Like nobody was saying like, oh man, we really need to go out and get another pass rusher. We really need to go out and get this Kieran Crawford guy. Like nobody was saying that. Everybody kind of knew what we needed, and the fact that we passed on a guy like a Ted Hurst, like a Jacoby Lane. I think Bell was drafted in that range. I think AJ Halsey is another guy at safety. Emmanuel Pregnon. There were some. I want to say. I think was it Romello Height? Maybe Romello Height was another guy that we passed on. That was a really supposed to be a really good edge rusher. And anytime, my philosophy in terms of picks is if we draft you in the first round, I'm expecting like all pro, borderline all pro potential, right? That's kind of what we're looking at. In the second round, hey, I want a plus starter. Close to Pro Bowl level starter, is kind of what you want. In the third round, you want a solid starter or a key rotational piece. That's kind of what you're shooting for. And Kieran isn't going to be either of those this year. And if he's already getting beat out by undrafted rookie Cian Sloan, like, will he be that any year? And so that remains to be seen. So, you would hope that you would hear more about him getting some run with the ones, and not as much about Cian Sloan getting a run with the ones. But like I said, man, it's still early. It's very early. So you don't want to pass too much judgment on any of these guys. You just hope that they take these lessons, take these lumps. They lick their wounds and they get better as the offseason progresses and into the season as well.
Man, shout out to Ruben for the super chat once again. Henry Mack says, who y'all got, Max and Quay or Khalil Mack and Nick Roach? Max and Quay, it seems like. Max is a great player, but Khalil's the better player. But I think Max and Quay in that combination is better than Khalil Mack and Nick Roach.
Yeah, Quay.
Khalil is a great player, but then like Nick Roach, Yeah,
exactly. Nick Roach is solid. He's solid. I think Quay Walker is a really good player. Nick Roach he's a solid player.
Yeah.
I think he was undersized too for the position too, so that's another thing that kind of.
But that tells you how great Khalil was, because Max is a great player.
Exactly.
Max is a great player. Khalil was just slightly better.
Khalil's better.
Yeah. Yeah. I would go with Max and Quay. All right. Hey, man, if you haven't already, make sure to click in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. I think that wraps up so far what we've been hearing from, from that side of the football. I think today, they're talking about receivers had their best day in camp, making plays left and right. I know they had a few touchdowns from, Cousins. I know we didn't get too much into Cousins and Mendoza. I think we touched on it early on. Like I was saying that, like, Cousins is clearly the QB1 right now. Mendoza is still, he's up and down. Like, he started camp really well, and then, like, I think he kind of hit a wall this Sunday as far as I think he had like fumble exchange. He was missing some guys. It continued on
multiple fumbles
on Monday. On Monday, but then he was able to bounce back, and then today a little bit more of the same, just as far as bouncing back and having a solid day. But like for Fernando, like he's a rookie. He's supposed to do this. Get it out the way. Let it get it out the way. He's supposed to do this. And nothing about what we're hearing is, we're not really hearing anything bad about Mendoza. Everything that we've been hearing from Mendoza in like camp is like, man, this dude he's everything exactly what everybody thinks he is. He's going to be a guy that's going to be in there 5 a.m. working hard, trying to perfect his craft. And that's what you want to hear. So, and he's a young guy, and then he's in a situation where it's not really a lot of pressure for him to like really kind of play right away. And I think that's how they want it to be. But I know we had this conversation last week on Around the Shield, and I posed the question: if it's close, would you rather have Cousins or Mendoza? I know you were saying that you rather go with Cousins. I'm like, if it's close, man, just put out Mendoza, man. Like let him make his mistakes, let him grow. If it's close, it's close. Like, but if it's clear that okay, Cousins is better. Because if you have people in the locker room who are like, man, Mendoza, then you got people in the locker room who believe in Mendoza. So like, what are we waiting for? Let him go out there. He already has a locker room, so like, might as well put the guy in, right. But right now it seems like Cousins is that guy. He's been consistent since training camp's begun, and so far that's what it's been. So, but it's early. We'll see how it shakes out. Salute to everybody. My guy Anthony, man, knows how to clock in. Make sure to clock in. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe. Hit that notification. I appreciate you coming through, Anthony. What's good? Omega in the building. What's good? Y'all starting Fernando? No, we were just talking about it.
No. Look, if it's close, it's Cousins, bro. Fernando got to snatch the job. Cousins was named the starter for a reason, so he ain't going into this thing 50-50. No, shout out. Like he's going into this with clearly behind Cousins, and it's like almost like a boxing match, right? When they say like, if you want to take the champ's belt, you got to go out there, you got to beat the champ. Like, it can't be like a close, maybe you won, maybe you lost. Like, you got to go out there, you got to beat the champ. Like, it's the same thing with his quarterback job. Fernando Mendoza is behind Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is the entrenched starter. And if Fernando wants that job, he has to go out there and he has to create some separation between himself and Kirk Cousins and make it basically undeniable that he's the guy. And, it's still early in camp, but he hasn't done that yet. And if he continues on this track, I don't see it being a possibility that he does do that this offseason. Now, maybe at some point during the year, he starts to say, like, hey, okay, you know what? This guy, Fernando, he's looking like the guy now. Maybe then they kind of, they'll look at our record, look at, what we're doing on the field, look at how Kirk is looking out there, and if they need to make that switch, then maybe they make that switch during the season. But going into the season, I don't think he's done anything that has, catapulted him in front of Kirk Cousins. And the fact that he's been turning the ball over, not on throws, but on exchanges or center exchanges, I think that's going to even solidify Kirk Cousins as a starter even further.
See, that's Severe's take on it. For me, if it's close, I'd rather have him go out there. I feel like Mendoza's going to get better with time, with more reps. He's shown that in his career, his college career. The more experience he's got, the more reps he's got, he's just gotten better. You talk about like his college season. What happened like during that season? Like some people would argue that even guys like, trying to think of his name, but there were people who criticized or talked about the early part of the season where Mendoza didn't look like Mendoza that ended the season. In the beginning of the season, looked like he had a slow start, little struggles here and there, but as the season went along, he got better and better and better and better. So I think that I feel like if you give him an opportunity, I think he's gonna get better with more reps. All I'm saying, if it's close, that means there's people in the locker room and the coaching staff that believe that he can go out there and hold down the fort. I don't think it's going to be a situation where, oh, Mendoza, go out there and win the game for us. I do still think no matter who's at quarterback, it's going to be, the recipe is going to be running the football and playing good defense, and then letting the quarterback manage the game and make plays off of play action. That is the recipe for the Raiders to be successful this year, whether it's Mendoza or Kirk Cousins at quarterback. But obviously Kirk Cousins has experience where when the bullets is flying or there is a game situation where running game's not there, team is throwing all types of blitzes at you. He has that experience where he's seen everything. I get it. But I'm saying if it's close, I'm just thinking about the developmental factors. He's a quarterback that's going to get better with reps because that's what he's shown. He's going to get better when you put him out there. That's kind of my thing is. But
what happened? But that's not what happened in Indiana. What happened in Indiana is that they just simplified everything. So it wasn't necessarily that they got better with reps. They just simplified everything and made it, you know what? Bam, this is what you do. You do 2 reads and check down. If not, take off, right? Bunch of RPOs. That's what it is, a bunch of RPO actions. And when he was throwing the ball, Kirk Cignetti said it. He said it on national TV. What's your game plan? Because we know the game plan is 2 reads and then check the ball down. He said that himself. And then, he got caught. Remember, he got caught in the lie. The guy was like, if it's oh man, it was what do you like about Fernando Mendoza? He's like, Fernando Mendoza has taught me so much. It's oh yeah, what did he teach you? He was he's stuck for 5 seconds. He glitched because he didn't teach him a lot. What he did was, he showed that if I put this guy in a simplified system, he's a good enough athlete and he's a good enough gamer where he's going to be able to make plays. And so all I have to do is just limit the mistakes, and he's going to play well. But that's not the case early in the season when he had, the full gamut of everything. He was struggling. So I don't think we throw everything at him right now. I think we spoon feed him little by little, and we don't throw a bunch on his plate because that could, like I said, his personality, that could short circuit him as a player. And we hear that, hey, I think Fernando Mendoza said himself that there's been times in practice where he throws a ball, and later on Clint will say, or the coaches will chew him out for it because it's bro, you can't make this throw. In an NFL game, this is an interception, or this is a batted ball. It's an incompletion, right? You can't make this throw in the NFL. He was saying he was able to do that stuff in college and get away with it because the athletes are different. But he said it himself, the coaches have told him, bro, this is a ball you cannot throw. And so I think he still has to learn that. And if he's getting to a point, because remember, bro, he got picked off, pick 6 by future PE teacher Gritty Vance. Which is fine. Like I said, I'm not criticizing him for that because this is the time for that stuff to happen. But I'm saying he still has to go through that process. Right. And I think it would be a bad investment if we try to rush that process. And I think throwing him out there as a starter, even if it's close, I think that's us skipping steps that don't need to be skipped because we're not going to be a competitive team. So find out what we have on this roster and in this offense, and then you can kind of tailor that to the strengths of Fernando Mendoza later on, or recognize some things that we need to provide for Fernando Mendoza to have success, and then you can deploy Fernando Mendoza as a quarterback once he's got the full grasp of the NFL game. But right now, I think it'll be doing the disservice to him to throw him out there.
Well, even if he so then your answer will still be the same if he played better than Cousins. If he was clearly better than Cousins, then your answer would be the same. Because either way, if he's clearly better than Cousins or he's the same as Cousins right now, he still will be taking his lumps as far as he doesn't have experience going against NFL defenses. He doesn't have experience going consistently against NFL speed. So that's something that that's what I'm saying. If it's the same, okay, I'm saying just throw him out there because he's gonna have to get those reps in. This is a developmental year. Learn as you go. Now, if it's a situation where offensive line is we're still figuring that out. I get what you're saying from that aspect. Like, I get that argument of we want things solidified around him, but what you're saying, it sounds like it would be the same even if he was clearly better than Cousins. Because if he's clearly better than Cousins, he's still gonna have to go through the same. He's still gonna be going up against the same obstacles, meaning the inexperience week in, week out, going against NFL defenses, NFL speed, learning how to throw in different coverages and different defenses and all that type of stuff. He's still gonna have to deal with that no matter what. So I'm if it's the same, and you got guys in the room that believe that he can compete on Sunday, you got coaches on the coaching staff that he compete on, because if he's the same, that's what just so I'm clear, if he's the same, then I'm okay, then we got all we have all the necessary ingredients to throw him out there. It's not a situation where Cousins is clearly better and guys in the locker room is looking at the coaching staff sideways, man, you about to put this guy out here, and so it's not going to be a situation where you're going to lose the football team or anything like that. That's why I'm if it's the same, I think the locker room will be okay with that because they believe in the talent. I know someone earlier was what do you see in Mendoza? Mendoza, he's big, strong, athletic, you know what I mean? And he has a good arm, obviously smart. I feel like he can get better as time goes on. But this is developmental year. This is not it's not like the Raiders are going to win the Super Bowl this year. If they do, oh my God, it's the greatest Cinderella story of all time. But we all understand that the Raiders are going about this with a long-term approach. And I feel hey, at the end of the day, if they're going with a long-term approach, that means they're going to go with a developmental approach. And if this is going to be a developmental year, then let him go through that this year. So then next year it becomes even more he'll be more ready even next year. That's if he's competing with Cousins, man, he's right there with Cousins. I'm not saying if he's worse. I'm saying if he's right there with Cousins, might as well, because everything that you're saying about Mendoza and what he's going to have to deal with is exactly what he's going to deal with, even if he's better than Cousins. Because that's what you're saying.
But no, because if he was better than Cousins, that means he's shown the ability to have overcome those obstacles. He's reading the defenses better. He's understanding the speed of the game. He's being better with his ball placement. We heard about a deep throw that he left well short. Was this just his last practice, right? Showing inaccuracy at the NFL level. So if you're the same as a 37-year-old quarterback in Kirk Cousins, who's on his third team in 5 years, are you really ready to be an NFL starter at that point? No, I would still go with the veteran guy who I'm going to trust to make better decisions. Maybe your athleticism is kind of helping you kind of close that gap, but there's still obviously some deficiencies because we know that Kirk doesn't have that kind of arm and Kirk doesn't have that kind of athleticism. So he's beating you with savvy and with understanding and with smarts and intelligence and IQ, and that's stuff that he still has to develop. So if that's the stuff he's still working on, I'd rather him work on that in a controlled environment and not throwing him out there to be throwing interceptions, for the world to see, where it could potentially be a situation where the fan base turns on him or he starts to have a little less confidence in himself. So if it's close, I'm still rolling with the veteran guy, especially on a team that is, Raider fans like it or not, we are seriously lacking in a talent department, especially at the skills position outside of Brock Bowers, and depending on how you feel about Ashton Jeanty, right? If you think he's an impact player, we have literally nothing at wide receiver. So, but nothing but a bunch of question marks. We have two 700-yard receivers on our team. One of them is Philip Dorsett, who we don't expect to be here, and then the other is Trey Tucker, who just did it last year. I don't even think any of the other guys have gone over 500, right? Like Jalen Naylor had his best season last year. It was like 469 yards. So, and we paid him a nice chunk of change. So it's like we don't have a lot at skill positions. We have questions along the offensive line. We have a rookie head coach, a rookie offensive coordinator. You know, it's like I'm not going to expose my prized possession in a first round pick quarterback to that kind of stuff his very first year.
If it's close coming out of training camp, you're obviously going with Cousins. How long are you going to have the leash on Cousins? Like how long? How many games? If it's close coming out of training camp.
For as long as he survives. Like what did Ivan Drago say? If he dies, he dies. Like this, I'm gonna keep throwing his ass out there, brother. I'm gonna throw him out there.
If he dies, he dies, man. That is wild, man. My guy Ellis says I'm gonna be hella torn if we make the Super Bowl. My first child do. Hey, congrats, bro. He says my first child due on the same day. Ah, dang.
Oh, bro.
Hey, they have TVs in the
Hey, look, hey, Ellis, I will say this. As a man that has multiple children, you'll probably have more kids. You want to see another Raiders Super Bowl, bro? Go to that game, dog. Go to that game. It's been a long ass time, bro.
That's hella funny. That is funny. That would guarantee that your kid will be a Raider fan too, because you always tell that story, and he'll be like, "That's the day that I knew I was a Raider fan right there." When you want to risk millions for a guy would beat out by Penix. Penix kills Kirko, stopped Mendoza cap. I mean, be honest with Kirk Cousins, like he was recovering from he was obviously not the same player after the Achilles. Like it was clear. It was so bad. He was so bad. Like Penix ended up just coming in, and that's why they drafted Penix. They was like, but
this though,
it was a crazy insurance policy, but then Penix is hurt now, so it's crazy.
Well, I think I've been seeing he's been throwing in camp. He's been looking good. What's crazy is somebody else got hurt though too. It was Jalen Walker, their first round pick from last year, towards ACL. Potentially. So hopefully, I think it hasn't been confirmed yet. So knock on wood. Hopefully it's not that. But they that's what they feared. But it was crazy. Like we were saying, like this guy that got killed by Penix last year is currently clearly many steps ahead of Fernando Mendoza right now. So Michael Penix was able to beat him clearly in a competition, according to you. But Fernando Mendoza, who was supposed to be, the generational talent at quarterback, is several steps behind Kirk Cousins right now. So are you dissing Kirk Cousins or are you dissing Fernando Mendoza?
Yeah. So hey man, look, there's plenty of camp to go. So we'll see how it shakes out. But yeah, right now it seems like Kirk Cousins is clearly the QB1, but we'll see if Mendoza kind of catches up to Cousins, and if he surpasses him, maybe it makes it an interesting decision for the coaching staff. But I feel like if he's right there, this year's already gonna be come on, let's keep it real. Like this year is just gonna be a wash, bro. I'd rather next year be like, oh man, Mendoza, he had a whole year to go through all the things that he, all the mistakes, all the growing pains. He got that out of his system. Year two, and that's the argument too, with the way quarterbacks are kind of coming into the scene. They're coming in, playing day one. In years past, more so in years past, and now not as much. But quarterbacks really aren't sitting anymore. They're usually kind of right away. They're playing right. If you're a top, if you're a number one pick, but if you're like a first round QB, most likely you're going to start sooner rather than later in year one. So, but in years past, like
I think the last one to sit was Carson Palmer.
Yeah, Carson Palmer.
Who sat behind John Kent. I think that's the last number one overall quarterback to sit opening day. I think he might have set the whole season, if I recall correctly. I know John Kitno started in front of him, I want to say.
The whole season?
Maybe not the whole season, but he wasn't the opening day starter. But I know John Kitna was like a solid quarterback. He was like a journeyman, but he was like solid. I think he might have started that whole season if I don't recall correctly. John Kitna did get hurt a lot too, so
Mahomes,
I can see Carson Palmer getting out of there.
Mahomes is probably the most notable guy that's drafted in the first round, top 15, to sit and then sit the entire season and then start his second year.
Yeah. So he started one game as a rookie. He started like week 16, I think, the last game of the year that year. I think the Chiefs had locked up for number one seed or something like that, and then I think they started Mahomes.
Was he killing? I don't remember if he.
I don't remember. I think he might have though. Actually, I think he might have. I think he threw. Did he throw for like 2 or 3 touchdowns? I don't remember. I think he had a good game.
Crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, we'll see, man. There's plenty of training camp to go, so we'll figure that out once we get there. If you haven't already, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We appreciate everybody pulling up. We're not done yet, man. Y'all already know what time it is, man.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
Flag on the play, man, and we got like one flag on the play this week, and what we got, Severe? What's the flag this week, man?
Yeah, man, there was a team that we all know well who had a rash of injuries last year, and there was a certain thing that everybody pointed to as the reason for that team being so injured, and that team commissioned a study, and the study came back saying that this foreign element had nothing to do with the injuries. Well, guess what? The team is injured again. That team is the 49ers. You're talking about the 49ers and the substation. If you look at the number of injuries that have been suffered just this offseason by the 49ers, something is going on. Yes. Something is going on, and I think we're pointing clearly at the substation. I think something has to be done.
Yeah.
It even got Raider smoke.
Man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy to even think about it, but like literally their first round was it their first round pick? But I know they're
not their first round pick. No,
it was, man. Just someone in their draft class literally looks
their second round pick got hurt. I don't think it's season ending, but DeJon Stribling is hurt.
Stribling is hurt. He has a hamstring. Pearsall, he's out for the seat. Well, he's on IR. He's gonna have surgery soon. And so basically
he's likely out for the year.
He's likely out for the year. I know Jordan James broke his ribs. He had hurt his ribs a week ago. Man, they got Mikael Kamara. That's the guy who I think tore his ACL.
Yeah,
he tore his ACL. So Malik Mustafa, Keon White, Mike Evans. Mike Evans at least is not a surprise because he's always kind of last few years of his career, he's kind of been like an injury prone player.
Yeah.
Getting older, that's just where he is at as in his career. So that's not surprising. But then like when you look at like how consistently young players, veterans, they're like getting hurt on this team, like it's all jokes when we talk about the substations. But if it's not the substation, 49ers, man, they need to get rid of I don't know. They got to get rid of like their strength and conditioning coach. Something has to give. Athletic trainer, team doctor. Something has to give where they have to change something in their off-season regimen because this is too crazy how consistent they are injured year in, year out. Something is going on, and they need to figure that out as soon as possible because that it kind of speaks to and it's crazy. The 49ers are always competing to the very end as far as playoff spot, and that says a lot about the team, but also, man, Shanahan. He finds a way to win, bro. Like he just finds a way to win. So shout out to him.
Yeah, it's because they have an elite quarterback in Brock Purdy.
Oh man.
Man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my guy out, man. LS said Superman himself couldn't survive the 49ers substation, man, for real.
Bro,
man. Kryptonite for sure.
It's crazy. It's crazy, man.
Strength coach got the same scholarship as that Juice.
Bro, I don't know how this man is still employed, bro. How? it's crazy, bro. The number of injuries that every single, it's not like a one, it's every single year. It's been crazy.
Even the running back that they traded up, who I heard the Raiders were interested in, by the way, Black.
Oh yeah,
Indiana. He's also hurt. So it's another guy, Christian Kirk, also hurt. Ricky, we went over the Ricky Pearsall, all that, but yeah, this is through 5 practices, so it is flag on a play on the 49ers for not figuring out this issue, because this is like year what?
They need to move practice facilities, bro.
How many years has it been with the Niners being injury prone? But that's the issues that they're dealing with. At the end of the day, we're all good on this end. I'm not going to hopefully nothing happens with the Raiders, but yeah, flag on a play on the 49ers and their handling of the team, because something is going on. Like I don't know what it is, but something is going on, because this is too. Wow, this is not
not normal.
Yeah, it's not normal at all, and it's not just older guys getting hurt. It's like everybody, young, old. It doesn't matter. It doesn't discriminate. Players are. It doesn't matter. These are players like Mikhail Kamara. He's a guy that was just drafted. Black was just drafted a running back from Indiana. Like these are guys that are young players, like, and they're getting hurt like this. Yeah, I know. Or be hella if a player from their team that was hurt goes to another team and has like a long career and
just healthy,
all pro.
Hey, look. How many? Because pre-substation, right? How many injuries? How many knee injuries did Frank Gore have in college? He went on to have a long career with the 49ers. That was pre-substation. Yeah. Now look at the 49ers. Everybody hurt.
Yeah, had a long career. Underrated career, to be honest with you. Very consistent.
Yeah, I think third all-time rushing. I want to say
super consistent.
Third or fourth.
Year in, year out will give you 1,000+ yards, man. Year in, year out.
I think he's fourth, because it's Emmett, Walter, Barry, and Frank. Yeah, Emmett, Walter, Barry, and Frank. I want to say.
Oh man, I forgot to mention that, man. Yeah, he wasn't.
Oh man, dang, that's so true.
The head coach. That
is true. That is true. Facts. Dang.
That's crazy, man. But yeah, that's flag. Yeah. That's flag on the play, man. 49ers, man. We just had to address that real quick, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit the subscribe notification bell. We're not done yet. Real quick, man. Severe, if you can address the super chat real quick. Hold on a second.
Facts. Where it's at? Where I see. I miss it. I don't see it on my end. Said this chat. You know what's bad with her? Yeah, most of these guys getting hurt were further. Yeah, bro, that's the thing. Like DeJon Stribling, I don't think he was a guy that was hurt all the time. Kalen Black, I don't think he was a guy that was hurt all the time. Mike Evans, we kind of know he has a history, but like all these people get to the 49ers and instantly start getting hurt, bro. It's something has to be done about this. Something has to get done about this. I think they want to say they commissioned a study, but anytime, like one thing you'll learn, anytime you get a study commissioned, is that you're usually the person paying for the study. So whatever results you want to come back, or whatever results the organization that's paying for the study wants to come back, that's generally the results that come back, because they're the people paying for it. And the people who are being commissioned for the study, they understand who they're working for. They understand the desires of the people who are paying for the study. So that's why they said they paid these scientists to do this study, and the scientists said the substation had nothing to do with these injuries. Okay, well, of course, because what's in the best interest of the 49ers is them not having to move practice facilities, right? Because the substation ain't going nowhere. So the what's in their best interest is not having to move the practice facility, because it's a hazard to the players on the roster. But clearly it's a hazard to the players on the roster, man. So I don't know what's gonna be done about it, man. But it's Brock Purdy's a little guy. It's only so much he can carry on those elite quarterback shoulders for so long. Studies are all about perception half the time. If you look at it from angle, and that's true as well. Yeah, I mean, like, you know what they say, there's lies, damn lies, and statistics. Like, you can flip these studies and you can flip statistics to say just about anything you want to, depending on the outcome you desire, right? So, and these studies can also be very narrow, where they don't include a certain data set, or they don't control for certain factors. So, if these controls aren't there, that means like what we say with these studies is sometimes if it's like garbage in, it's garbage out. So if the data and the model that you're using in the study is garbage, then the results that you're going to get out of the study is going to be garbage as well. It's almost like AI prompts in a way, where if you're not like super detailed, like damn near granular, like the AI can just run amok and create something like that's not what you wanted at all. So it's like, if you give it a garbage prompt, it's not going to give you the results that you were desiring. Same thing with these studies, right? If your model isn't correct, or if you don't have the correct controls, or you don't have a big enough data set, like the study is basically junk at that point, right? It's not going to be accurate at all. So, I mean, look, man, it's some wild things happening in Santa Clara. But I will happily trade AJ Neibel and Deuce Gruden for Kyle Shanahan. All right, I will give them two of the better strength and conditioning coaches in the league if they were willing to give us Kyle Shanahan. And we'll go ahead and slide Clint Kubiak down to offensive coordinator, and we'll rock it like that. We shall rock it like that. Commission my last. I don't know what that means, but power to you, brother. And good luck on that Fernando Mendoza train that you're riding on, bro. Best of luck with that. The organization aren't going to come out and blame the substation unless, yeah, exactly, right, LS. They're not going to come out and blame the substation because, like I said, what's in the best interest of the 49ers is them not having to build a new practice facility somewhere, or them not having to temporarily move somewhere else until they get that new practice facility, right? So, like I said, they're the people that if they commission the study, then the study is generally going to have the outcome that they desire.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, man, appreciate you holding down the chat. We're not done yet, right? We got notable quotables where we play quotes. Obviously, we react to them, and then we have a conversation about them. Severe, we got a couple of quotes today, right? Don't we?
Yeah, we got a couple of quotes, man. Talking about ignoring studies, Aaron Rodgers was talking to he's doing a podcast, and he was talking about essentially training camp and practices, and he was saying that he doesn't feel that training camp and practices are being ran the right way for a specific reason.
Okay, give me just a second here. I'm gonna pull it up. If you haven't already, make sure you clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell.
Yes.
But yeah, man, Aaron Rodgers, man, he's been out here, and I know he's kind of been he has a very interesting offseason in terms of like, you know what I mean? Like where he doesn't really say anything until like the very last moment, where he comes into training camp at the very last moment, because obviously he's at that point of his career. And he shows up at Pat McAfee, and then he kind of sounds off what everyone sounds like. I wonder what, like, because he was kind of going at ESPN the other day. That was kind of interesting. I don't know if you checked that out.
Nah, man. I make it a personal habit to ignore Aaron Rodgers as much as possible.
Man, hold on one second here.
Yeah,
My bad, y'all.
Yeah, LS. He's like the 70-year-old that has absolutely no filter, but has been taking down a strange TikTok algorithm where he believes the dumbest shit that you could possibly believe. And so he just goes out there and says it, and nobody's going to hold him accountable because like he's the rich 70-year-old grandpa. And so nobody going to check grandpa because he's the rich one, but he also don't know what the hell he talking about. So he's just saying crazy stuff all the time.
All right, here goes Aaron Rodgers.
Goes back to stuff you worked on in practice and being able to to draw back on those experiences where you're not operating in a perfect environment with no defenders. It's like, no, give me someone out there just a shadow so I can feel what it feels like to throw right the back of his head on the back shoulder. And again, I think that's where you grow, is where you put yourself in the most adverse situations. And to circle back to the point, when coaches and or players are way more concerned about what it looks like than how it feels, it's really hard to grow because you're just going to be hoping for perfect passes in practice.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh, you missed that one. Perfect. That's exactly what you want.
Right.
Because
Here's
now
how we
you've got a
fix it.
feeling. Oh, shoot. I was a little on my front foot on that one. I was, my hitch was a little too much, or I got to have more weight on the back, or I got to put a little bit more air on this ball when it's 25 yards outside the numbers. Like, those are the ones that, like working with young quarterbacks, I'm like, that's the best rep possible. I just remember that one. So when it comes up next time, you can make the right throw.
Okay. And
I got one question for Aaron Rodgers after hearing that. Motherfucker, why are you whispering? Like, what is he telling somebody a secret? Like, gosh, what you want to do is you want like he's doing a golf announcement. Like, what you want to do is he's approaching the right side, and he's a little bit of a shallow putt here. He's gonna bring out his like, bro, just talk normal.
Well,
like,
maybe sometimes like he doesn't want to put people on the spot. You like, especially on that level. I mean, there's a lot of people who got egos and things like that, so you just want to pull them to the side and just basically like, hey, let them know. Probably not like how C.J. Stroud did Caleb Williams.
Yeah,
that was insane. You know what I mean? Especially if Caleb Williams ends up having like a great career and then C.J. Stroud falls off. Like,
yeah, I think C.J. Stroud been to the AFC Championship. Nah, not yet. Jaden Daniels been to the NFC Championship game. C.J. Stroud has 3 playoff wins in his career already.
Yeah. Stroud, man, I'm not gonna lie, man. Stroud, he has some goofy moments, but as long as he continues to, like, if he is able to have a breakout year, I know he's extremely focused this year. This is a big year because if this year doesn't really end well in terms of like not just team success, but like him just playing well and contributing, especially in the very end, like if he's holding that team back, then they're probably going to be like, you know what, maybe it's time to bring someone in that can take this team, because right now
he held it back against
they
Patriots.
have defense. They have the defense. They've added to that run game. I feel like, what do they add in the run game that I like?
David Montgomery,
but in years past it was, who else?
They had Joe Mixon, but Joe Mixon was gone all of last year. Then they had last year. Nick Chubb last year.
Nick Chubb? Okay.
Nick Chubb last year.
Yeah, Nick Chubb was playing well with them too as well. Like he did.
Yeah, he's playing solid. I mean, by the end of the year, like Woody Marks was probably the better player.
Woody Marks, that's the guy that was stepping up for too as well. Young running back that came out of that loaded draft class.
CJ Stroud has 3 career playoff wins. Let's see how many Mendoza gets in his career. Let's see how many Mendoza. Those 3 career playoff wins is infinitely more than Derek Carr had in his entire NFL career. So let's see. He was going to goof again. Let's see how many playoff wins he gets.
Hopefully Mendoza can get a top 5 defense, man. Top 10 defense. We can get that.
He didn't have top 5 defense in year 1 when they took him for the number 2 overall pick to win their playoff game.
Did they have a good defense that year or a bad defense?
It was middle of the road. And then next year is when they make the big leap. It was like 5th, 16th, I think, that first year.
Okay, yeah, his first year.
And after that, they made a big jump.
He did play well. He did play well for a rookie that year. Like they talked about, this is one of the greatest rookie quarterback coming out. Like
it was the greatest rookie quarterback season of all time until Jaden Daniels came along and beat it the very next year.
Right, man. But to what Aaron Rodgers was saying in the clip, man, I do agree that, like, I like how he broke that down as far as like letting a quarterback kind of make mistakes and like trying out things and like making sure you understand like what it's going to look like in a game like situation. But before you can get to that, you got to like make the mistake. You got to like know what it looks like. So maybe to your point of like, all right, well, having Mendoza in a situation where he's playing free and no pressure, and you kind of announce like, oh, well, hey, Cousins is going to be the starter. So Mendoza's just back there just working and trying to get better and like building off each day and stacking days. But on the other hand, though, like when I hear Aaron Rodgers talk about like him kind of making mistakes and kind of like, I'm also thinking about like, man, the reps that he's gonna get against NFL speed, and when is he gonna actually see that? And that's really gonna be in the regular season, and that's gonna be in a game situation. So I feel like that's when he's gonna truly get better. I know like practice, training camp, they're gonna have maybe, I think joint practice might be the closest, because now they're gonna play against different guys. The players are gonna be flying around. It's gonna be highly competitive, especially this year. The Raiders are going against none other than the Houston Texans. So that would be a nice little test for the offense and defense. So that's gonna be interesting to see how that goes. See what players kind of stand out and make plays. But yeah, man. To Aaron Rodgers, man, I kind of agree, and it makes me think of like, goes back to that quarterback discussion, like how the Raiders should approach it. Because on one hand, I kind of see like, oh, okay, this is a perfect situation. We got Cousins, Mendoza should go out there, and I know he had like a tough day the other day, but hey, that's a good day. That tough day that he had is a good day, because now he could find a way to get better from that and keep growing. But then on the other hand, I'm start thinking like, man, like the conversation and the whisper that Aaron Rodgers was trying to say, like, I could hella see a Mendoza going into the game and obviously having a tough game, but also like after a while getting better, because we've seen young quarterbacks get better as time goes on. It's just a different approach. And I think it just goes back to the conversation we just had earlier, to me.
But the thing about it is that what Aaron Rodgers was talking about is that he was talking about forcing guys to face adversity in practice. And you think about in years past where, Derek Carr, who was the guy that was supposed to be like, the franchise quarterback for our team. Like, you would talk about, Derek Carr, he was 15 for 15 in practice. Well, that's not what you want, right? Like, practice should be the time that you practice. So that should be the time where you're working on things that you're not good at, and you're improving on things. And the only way to do that is to test your boundaries and push your limits. And if you're not testing your boundaries and pushing your limits, then you're really not getting better. And so if you're just taking the safe throws and you're not taking a chance on the pass that could be incompleted, or taking the chance on the pass that could be intercepted, and it's not intercepted necessarily because you didn't make the correct read, it's because, okay, man, I see this guy is playing it like this. Okay, can I fit this ball in this situation? Okay, I see this guy is covering here. If I throw it, how far to the outside do I have to throw the ball for it to be a situation where only my receiver can make the play and not the defender? Like, you want to find those things out early. And practice is the time where there's essentially like no risk, because it's you don't lose games. Well, I don't want to say you don't lose games in practice, because you kind of can, but like they're not keeping a score in practice, right? Like, practice is where you're supposed to be doing these things. You're supposed to be experimenting. And I think that what Aaron Rodgers was speaking to was that, so many people, they're not focused on the aspect of practice where you're actually getting better. They're focused on, oh man, hey man, you saw those, they're just throwing nothing but dots out there, or it's nothing but completions today. Like, that's not what you really want, because you learn through failure, right? Like, failure is the best teacher. And if you fail enough, then you're going to find success. So you want to be out there taking those chances and doing the things that you may not do in the game, because, oh, you know what? This is a situation where I could turn the ball over. But if you can do it in practice, and it's not going to affect you the same way, because it's no win-loss record at the end of the practice. It's just the end of the practice. So, and that's what I've said in the past, man. I don't mind if you're like, now if you're in practice and you're throwing interceptions because you didn't make the right read, or you're throwing passes because you're just making bad decisions, then that's a different thing. But if you want to test the limits of your arm, or you want to see if you can fit a ball in somewhere, or if you want to see, hey, what is this receiver, hey, can I trust him with a back shoulder throw? If you're doing stuff like that, where you're trying to build that chemistry through repetition, and you're trying to test your limits and figure out exactly what you can do, then I'm good with that. I think that's what practice should be for. And I think that's what Aaron Rodgers was speaking to.
Yeah, man. If you haven't already, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We appreciate everybody coming through. Coach is man. Sometimes, Coach, man, I don't know when to take you serious. Sometimes, man. Joe's mixes on my will great running back survive extended wear. So much use to site for nothing. Okay, we got a hater in the chat. This is a random question. Who you starting, rookie Mendoza or Carr this season?
Probably Carr.
Oh, if like Derek Carr was the veteran quarterback?
No, I think he's a rookie. Oh, we're talking about rookie Mendoza or Carr when he was a rookie?
Oh,
I thought that's what the question was. Like Carr's a rookie, he had thrown the ball a lot more, and he was like basically the entire offense at Fresno State. Like they was just like throwing the ball crazy.
Second round pick though, and he was kind of same situation. He was not even supposed to be starting.
No, he wasn't supposed to be.
It was supposed to be Matt Schaub's job, similar to what
he played his way into that role.
He did. So, okay. So if Mendoza goes into these preseason games and like
I said, if he goes out there and he separates himself and he's the clear, like if you go out there and you snatch the job from Kirk Cousins, I'm good with that. But you gotta it gotta be clear. It can't be like it gotta be Mendoza is clearly the better player.
For me, no matter what, he's gonna go through growing pains. No matter what.
Yeah, every rookie will.
Yeah, that's my thing. He's no matter what, he's gonna go through growing pains. So that's why I'm like, for me, it's like if he's there, right there, Kirk Cousins, a veteran quarterback, experienced, and he's right there, no matter how he's there. Because I know you made a comment of saying like, well, Kirk Cousins' experience, he's seen things, so he's gonna have an edge there. But then obviously, Mendoza is gonna probably get he's gonna close the gap with his athleticism, his physical, natural ability, and like his ability to make plays in his own way because he's a young quarterback. He can move, whatever the case may be. Cool, but all I'm saying, if he's there, then I'm thinking, to me, it's good enough for me to throw him out there and let him kind of go through the growing pains and learn and just use this as a developmental year, because that's what it is. It's a developmental year. We're being honest. But I get what you're saying. You want him to go out there and beat it out, but I think if he beats him out and he's way better than him, I'm still gonna expect Mendoza to have like rookie moments. If he's gonna go against, let's say for example, we're going against the Minnesota Vikings and it's Brian Flores, defensive coordinator, whether he was better than Cousins at training camp, no matter what, it's gonna be a tough game because it's gonna be a veteran defensive coordinator or whoever. I'm using Brian Flores as an example, but I'm just saying like we can use the defensive coordinator from the Kansas City Chiefs as an example. Like
Steve Spagnuolo.
He's gonna have a tough game because he's gonna do things that Mendoza's never seen before, ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's just gonna have to go through that and make the mistakes and learn from it and grow from it, no matter what. So that's kind of my thing. But we'll see. We'll see how the Raiders handle it. I think to your point, Severe, I think there's people in the building that feel the way you feel. You know what I mean? Starting with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Tom Brady
and Spytek and Kubiak and it's like
so you might be onto something. LS says I remember the preseason game against Seattle when DC was targeting Sherman.
Yeah. That's when he won the job. Like it was probably 50-50 between Matt Schaub and Derek Carr at that point. Derek Carr had looked impressive through training camp and through the preseason. But I want to say that was the third. Well, no, that was the fourth preseason game, right? Then it was the last preseason game, and then he ended up being named the starter right after that.
Yeah. But we're not done yet, man. We got another notable quotable. Severe, what we got?
Yeah, man, we got a notable quotable from Cooper Kupp. And I think this is something that kind of, this applies to all of our rookies. I mean, I think to just in general, but especially when you're looking at our rookies in training camp and in these practices, trying to make this roster and trying to, just like make starting positions and go out and be productive NFL players. I think this is very sage advice from a guy who had to really get it out the mud, being like a mid-round pick in Cooper Kupp.
what I'm going to say, people are going to hate. Like, they're going to hate to hear that this is my mindset, but you have to not care what happens. You have to not care what the result is. Like, get completely past this place of like the wins and the losses, get completely past the, what the stats are going to be at the end of the day. I work from Monday to Saturday to make sure I prepare and do everything I possibly can to be the best Cooper Kupp that I can be on Sunday. The things I eat, when I show up to work, the film I'm watching, every piece of it I'm as intentional as I can possibly be. Once I step on the field on Sunday, it doesn't matter. Like, I've already done everything I possibly can to be in that moment. All I can do is attack it, and the results do not matter because I've done everything, right? So like, there's so much as a receiver, especially so much out of my control. I'm just going to be the best me that I can be, and the rest is let the rest be what it is. God's written out what this day is going to be already, and it's out of my control. I'm going to attack it. I know that I get to play from victory, not for victory, and that anything that happens after this game, it's already written. So the worst thing I can do is look back and be like, oh, why didn't I go after it? Why didn't I try it? When at the end of the day, it wouldn't matter whether I tried it or not. Like, I'm going to just be secure and being like, I'm going to send it, right? Like, I got an out route versus one hole. I got terrible leverage. This helps in here. I'm trying to run an out route, but I'm like, I don't have a plan. It's like, no, I'm just going to go for it. Like, whatever it is, no doubt, no self-doubt, I'm just going to send it.
So I have a question for you, Severe. A question for you. Hearing this from Cooper Kupp, guy that's had a 1,800-yard season, productive career, guy like that Steve Smith called out from day one, like, was a guy that's going to be a great player in the NFL. Do you think this advice helps the Raiders receiver room?
Unless that advice comes with some track shoes for Jack Besh and some stickum for Dante Thornton, probably not. Probably. I mean, look, in a way, like, one thing they teach you all the time is like, you can't focus on results. You have to focus on the process, right? Or focus on the behaviors. If you're doing the right behaviors and the results don't come, then maybe you need to take a look. But if you're not even doing the right behaviors and you're not getting results, well, then it's because you're not doing the right behaviors. If you're not working as hard as you can work, if you're not taking care of your body, if you're not doing everything you need to do to recover, if you're not in your playbook, like, if you're not doing all of this stuff and you're not playing well, then it's probably because you're not doing all of that stuff, right? So all starts with your behaviors. And then after you get the behaviors down, then you can start looking at, and you're still not getting the results, then you can start taking a look at, okay, what do I have to change? But if you're not even doing the behaviors, then you can't even be thinking about the results at that point. You have to do the behaviors first.
Yeah, no, facts 100%, man. Because at the end of the day, like, in order for you to recognize, like, or keep yourself accountable, you got to go out there and make sure that you're doing everything that you need to do to be prepared. So I agree with that 100%, man. I was just making a joke, but
facts.
What he was saying was spot on. And it tells you the mindset that he had, like, where how he was able to be as productive as it wasn't no accident on why he was that productive. It's because he made sure he did everything right. He did everything right in order for him to be prepared on Sunday. And then obviously everything took care of itself.
Yeah, man. Like, I had this mentor who gave me some game, and he told me that he would much rather have a life full of oh wells than a life full of what ifs.
You much have a life full of oh wells than what ifs. So he rather he rather just know that he did what he had to do. He did everything.
And if it didn't work, it's oh well. Then, like, damn, what if I actually went out there and did this, right? What if I actually went out there and did that?
Sheesh. Hey, that's a bar. That's a bar, man. That's a bar, man. But we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. Henry says the rookies got impressed by Kermit and the West. I hope they adjust as soon as possible. LS says you're less likely to make mistakes if you don't care if you make them.
Yeah, fact.
LS, man. My God, man. Appreciate you coming through. So we're not done yet, man. Not done yet. We have this is our only note. This is our last notable quotable, right? We already had our this is the one that
yes. What's real, what's not.
What's real, what's not. So this is where we say a statement, and we pretty much react to it if it's real or it's not. What we got, Severe?
Yeah, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit, but essentially the same thing. The statement for this week is: by the end of this upcoming season, not season. That's for my food. But by the end of this upcoming season, Malik Benson will be a starting wide receiver on this team. By the end of this upcoming season, Malik Benson will be a starting wide receiver on this team. And I don't mean like a wide receiver. He's starting in the slot or starting punt returner. No, he's a wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2 on this team.
Oof. Man, that's a good one. Although I don't think this is a great wide receiver room. It's crazy, man. Like the conversations we have on here, we're like ahead of the curve because we always talk about this team and we just talk about conversations that no one wants to talk about. And then eventually everybody comes around. Because literally, where were we talking about the wide receiver room last year? We were like, oh, this room is disgusting. It's trash. And guess what everybody's talking about this whole entire offseason up until this very moment? Oh, this wide receiver room is not good. But at the time when we were saying it, they were like, oh my God, Dante Thornton is Calvin Johnson. Jack Besh, give him a chance. Like, what are you guys like? This, that, and the third. Trey Tucker, this, that, and the third. All this type of stuff. But as far as Benson starting, I think going into the season, I think it's going to be Naylor and Trey Tucker. Naylor just got paid, so I'm assuming like he's going to live up to that on some way or form. They're going to give him every opportunity to like start and hold down that position.
We paid Javon Walker once upon a time.
We did, but that was just like that's just like an exception, man.
The worst signing of all time, possibly, potentially top 5 worst of all time.
People forgot about that. Javon Walker, y'all.
We broke bread that day. It was Javon Walker and Jabril Wilson.
And
we broke up.
Javon Walker before the microfracture surgery was nice.
Was a dog. He was crazy.
Nice from Green Bay to Denver Broncos, and then obviously the Raiders went ahead and got him. But at that, we got him. He was damaged at that point.
It's ironic because we knew it was over when he got knocked out in Vegas. That's when we knew it was a wrap.
Oh my, that was so, bro. Man, Raiders be having just random situations. Oh man, I'm just hoping we're done with that. But the team is in Vegas, so Vegas just being the city that it is. Hopefully, and I think Spytech just. I know I'm on a tangent, but I hope I think Spytech and everybody in that building, they understand like a certain type of player needs to be on that team.
Yeah.
Not every player can come to the Raiders because we don't even have the locker room that's strong enough. We don't have, because that city is gonna be a huge distraction to a player that's not ready for that. Now about going back to Benson, is he gonna start by the end of the season? I'm gonna say not real. I think he's gonna be out there. He's gonna make plays, but I think starting might be pushing it. Because I think Trey Tucker is. I know you're not the biggest Trey Tucker fan, but I think Tucker is gonna be. He's
solid. I think he'll be solid.
And I think he's gonna play to his role. He's gonna be that speedy guy. They're gonna use him in different ways. They're gonna have him run a lot of deep routes, a lot of crossers. Same goes with Jalen Naylor. They're gonna find ways to get him the ball. But the main guy that's gonna be dominating the targets is gonna be Brock Bowers. And then every now and then I think Benson's gonna take Benson's gonna take Dante Thornton role. That's what I think is gonna happen.
But look, what role did Dante Thornton play last year?
He started, but is Benson Dante Thornton in terms of like his size and does he have a 75-year-old head coach?
Nah. Yeah, I mean, I think
they had him starting like week 1, and they
starting
preached,
all year,
and they preached competition.
From the jump.
They preached competition, and they had that man starting week 1 for the majority.
You know what though?
There's no way that he. I think they knew that, and I think they knew that there's no way that he could start because why? They got who did they pick up? Who did they try to pick up before the season started, and then just retired?
Oh, Amari.
They knew. Yeah, they knew that it was foolish. They knew it was like, okay,
Krispy Kreme Amari too, man. Chris Amari was looking. He was looking healthy, man. He was looking like he didn't miss a meal that offseason. But it's like you say Dante Thornton was starting and like he preached competition, but like who was beating him out? Who was gonna beat him out? I mean, really, it was either him or Trey Tucker, and Trey Tucker still was like a pseudo starter because he was still like the wide receiver 3, like the slot. So like Trey Tucker was still like basically a starter. So it's like who else was gonna beat? Like Jack Bech wasn't gonna. We was like we heard the same conversations about Jack Bech last year that we hear about Jack Bech this year. But man, as soon as the pads come on, Jack Bech gonna wake up. He's a physical receiver. Mm-hmm. He likes to get physical out there. Like as soon as the pads come on, Jack Bech gonna turn it up a notch, and he ain't turned it up a notch yet. You feel me? It's on that same notch. Been there since last year. So like whether Dante Thornton really won the competition. I mean, he didn't have much competition to beat out, so it's like, who was really better than him? I guess you could say Trey Tucker. Maybe if you really, really like Shedrick Jackson, what you saw in the preseason, maybe you could say Shedrick, maybe.
Trey Tucker's better than Dante Thornton.
He's better than him, but I said, did he beat him out, though?
He's better than him, and I think, man, beat him out, like...
But see, we say, but see, this is hindsight.
Come on.
Like...
The Dante Thornton, they just really, he tried to, what he tried to do? He was like, oh man, this is height, weight, speed. That guy that like remind me of what's the receiver from the Seattle days when Carroll was there. They drafted in the second round.
DK?
DK Metcalf. Height, weight, speed. Because I think. Because
DK Metcalf was like
that's who they were comparing to him in terms of his 40 his measurables, like his height and his speed and things like that.
They didn't look at weight though. That's one. They did not include weight in that.
They include weight. But I don't know, man. I just think they forced it with Dante. They forced it real bad, and it just. At some point, it gave way because what happened? He ended up being. I think there was games where he didn't even suit up. At some point, and usually what you want to see, and to quote Tom Brady, you want to see a team get better as the season goes along, not get worse. And it felt like the Raiders were getting worse, and the players were getting worse. So I don't know if that speaks to the player, or the coaching staff, or just both. But yeah, man, I think Benson is posed to take up a bigger role, but I can't say he's going to be the starter this season. Even though it's not like we have like an all-pro, Pro Bowler, proven starting receivers, but I just feel like I can't see it. I can't see it right now.
By the end of the season. Yeah, I'm gonna say no. It's hard. He's a 6th round pick, man. I don't want to get too ahead of myself in terms of everything. We kind of did it last year with Thornton. Thornton was a 4th round pick, and going into the offseason, Trey Tucker wasn't worth a damn. We already knew what we had in Jacoby Myers. We knew that was wide receiver 1, but opposite of him, right? I didn't have any faith in Jack Bech. I thought he might win the starting job just based off draft position alone, and he didn't. And then Trey Tucker, is he truly an outside receiver with his height? I mean, I think he kind of got even splits from the slot and in terms of outside receiver last year. It was his best season too, but going into that year, he was another guy that was a mystery, and we were looking to replace. Obviously, that's why we drafted 2 wide receivers. So But Benson is a 6th round pick. I'm not going to put that kind of expectation on him. There's not much in front of him, though, to be completely honest. Not like he has a tough road, because he just needs to beat out Jack Besh, or Trey Tucker. Like, Dante Thornton is an afterthought. Naylor is probably entrenched as a starter because of his salary. But those other two guys, like, I don't think either one of those are really that much better than Benson. Trey Tucker, he's done more in the league thus far, but is he really that much of a better player? That kind of remains to be seen. He's another speedy receiver. Obviously, Benson is like a 4.3 guy as well. He's also taller than Trey Tucker. So that means something. So we'll see what happens. If everybody is healthy, I anticipate Trey Tucker and Jalen Naylor finishing the year as our starting wide receiver, but I wouldn't be surprised if one of those guys get beat out by Malik Benson if he continues on the track that he's been on recently. Let me get to the chat real quick. I'd argue Spikes have been going overboard drafting for a good character, which is why we got chumps like Best. Yeah, but like, bro, at the end of the day, man, like, do you want to have a high character team? Yes, but you also want players that can play, man. Like, that's at the end of the day, you want players that can play. And if it don't matter how good your character is if you're not any good on the football field. Like, if you want high character guys, go to Bible study and you grab players up out of there. You feel me? Like I'm not looking for choir boys on this team. I'm looking for dudes that can lace them up and go out there and do some damage between those white lines. And we're focused too much on the wrong things. Character is important. Football character is important. And as long as a guy has a proper work ethic, the proper football character, I think that guy can do some good things for you. As long as he's not a complete, knucklehead out there doing nonsense for no reason, causing all kind of problems. I think you can deal with some character concerns. Like, some would argue that Malik Benson has some character concerns based on the several stops he made in college. And look at it now. He's seems to be one of our more promising rookies, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So sometimes you got to overlook those things. How we overlook character, we have Jalen Carter right now instead of the residue of Tyree Wilson's unathleticism, right? Like, we'd have a legit, we wouldn't have went out and paid Christian Wilkins a whole bunch of money because we already had a guy like Tyree Wilson, a guy like Jalen Carter on the team. So there would have been no need to make that transaction. So, like, all that stuff, it's like the butterfly effect, man. If, but sometimes you gotta, if the talent is there, sometimes you gotta allow for a little bit of, idiosyncrasies.
Did you see that comment about the worst contract should be Christian Wilkins' contract?
Nah, because didn't Javon Walker try to convince Al not to, like, didn't he try to get the money back? And Al was like, no, I wanted to keep you. And Javon was like, nah, bro, like, take the money. I don't want to play. And Al was like insisting on him playing. Didn't that happen, or am I remembering that wrong?
I just know that was a swing and a miss. It was so bad. But like, I don't think a lot of fans remember that. There's some young fans that don't remember that, but like, them late Al Davis years, man, there was a lot of like head scratching moves. Like, yeah. Like back then, you're like, oh, okay, you're hoping for the best, but in just looking back, you're like, damn, what were we thinking? Like, yeah. Every year trying to win the Super, like literally trying to win the Super Bowl. Like, he was going for Super Bowl. Like, these are moves the only teams that make it are teams that are ready to win right now. And I think Mark Davis tried to fall into that a little bit, not to the extreme of Al, but I think we're back to like, okay, it's time to rebuild this the right way. So hopefully, we're done with them days. Hopefully we won't have, like, you know what, to be honest with you, if we're just being real, some of these free agent moves, some of them are going to work out. Some are not going to work out. I'm not sure who, maybe Kwity Paye, I know Kwity Paye got paid a little bit. Like, I like Quay Walker. I like I like Nakobe Dean, but then Nakobe Dean, if he gets hurt, which
He's
has
got
been
to stay healthy.
If that's been the story of his career up until this point, is that he's kind of been injury prone a little bit. So there's a few things that we just got to be honest about. That's why a lot of teams, you hear a lot of good GMs that they like to build through the draft. So that's gonna be big. But Javon Fasco was right before I became a Raider fan, so I don't recall all the details. Oh man. So you only seen part of the dysfunction. We've seen we've seen all of this dysfunction. Ooh, man, we've seen all of the dysfunction. That dysfunction.
All of it, man.
Oh
all
man, that's why we can handle the dysfunction that we see now. I mean, I will say though, like, what would you say was the worst before we head out of here? What was the most dysfunctional post-Al situation with the Raiders?
Oh, like what Al was still alive?
Post-Al, after he...
Post-Al, most dysfunctional.
Mark Davis Raiders.
Mark Davis Raiders. Most dysfunctional. Oh man, low key the whole Pete Carroll. I mean, the Pete Carroll thing was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. The Josh McDaniels was bad too. Because the Josh McDaniels to AP thing, fired Halloween, that was kind of dysfunctional.
And then like fans like literally harassing Mark.
Yeah.
He's all like, use your brain. He was just going off.
Yeah.
And then like literally a week or two, he fires him because you could tell like he just gave into the pressure.
Yeah.
That whole situation. Because he could have just fired him at the end of the season or close to the end of the season. But
exactly.
He did it. It was so weird that we were seeing all these viral moments of him being recorded by fans kind of like harassing him, saying like, hey, you need to fire Josh McDaniels. And literally a couple weeks later, boom, he gets he fires him after that with the Detroit Lions game.
Yeah.
Lions game.
Yeah, I think it was Thursday Night Football. Thursday Night Football? Okay.
I
believe it was Thursday.
No,
or maybe it was Monday night. It was Monday night
because it was Halloween. That was like that Tuesday, I think. Was it Tuesday?
No, it was fine. Yeah, it was that too. Yeah,
that Tuesday. Yeah, man. So that one, I'm not gonna lie, the John Gruden situation. John Gruden and then I am not gonna lie, the rug situation. That one, it's a touchy topic.
Oh yeah, that.
But that one hit me though. That one I was like I was really like into the season, and it just took that one and hey, respect to the players who held it down and actually powered through the season and were able to be competitive, and like that was a special locker room for them to like make it happen. Because I'm not gonna lie, that rug situation, I was like, damn, because it was just like, it was it was tough, man. That was tough. That was tough. To me, that season, Gruden getting fired, Gruden being stepping down from that whole situation.
Yeah, the email stuff, that whole group. Yeah,
I was just like, it was so weird. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are we doing? What's going on? Like,
I think LS put in there the AB situation, the whole AB, from the hot air balloon to the burning of the feet to the helmet situation to the the altercation with Mayock. It was bad, man. It was bad.
I think so late Al Davis, most dysfunctional was probably, would you say Lane Kiffin?
Yeah, that was bad. Bad.
Lane Kiffin, like the projector, where he would just use the projector, and it was just
yeah, man, that was savage because we had drafted Jamarcus too, and then like Lane went out of his way to sabotage Jamarcus, and then Lane went out of his way to sabotage Jamarcus. But man, I'm thinking about the early days, like the Dennis Allen. Remember Tony Sperano was burying footballs? Remember he burying the football? Oh my God, it's been some wild ass shit that's happened for Raiders, bro.
Nah, that's wild. But I'm like, look, I feel like those days hopefully are behind us. Those days are behind us, man, because we're actually rebuilding the football team. We're drafting quarterbacks in the first round, number 1 pick, and we're actually trying to develop it the right way. We got one of the top offensive minds in football as a head coach. We were able to recruit him and get him as head coach. Look, I feel like the Raiders are headed in the right direction. We just got to see it. We got to see it through.
Look, yeah, we didn't bring it up, but low-key the Christian Wilkins situation, bro, that was
oh man, that just seemed, I don't even want to know the details of that situation. That seemed disgusting. But that was weird. That was weird. The Christian Wilkins situation, was just...
it's only us, bro. I don't be hearing about this crazy stuff happening with other teams, man. Yeah. Like, I don't hear about this stuff, bro.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, you're right. Damn, I'm trying to think. Like, I think there are some teams here and there they'll get something, but like, yeah, I don't like
not the amount though, bro. They'll get one like every 10, 15 years, bro. We get like, bro, this is just in the last like
oh, we've seen
bro, you feel me?
We've seen everything. We've seen everything with the Raiders. We've seen everything with the Raiders. I'm trying to think of like what other team had, I guess the Patriots.
Yeah, the Patriots. Yeah, I mean, but that was mostly because oh boy,
Aaron Hernandez. That situation.
That was mostly because Aaron Hernandez. That was all of his.
I'm trying to think of anybody else.
I mean, the Patriots and then Mike Vrabel too.
With T.O., wherever T.O. was at, was that dysfunctional?
Yeah, but that was like T.O. though. I mean, you can't.
Yeah.
You know, like T.O. going T.O. But even then though, like T.O. was still like
T.O. was
fighting. He was still balling.
He was still balling.
Like bro, he was still balling. So it's not like you could be like, oh, T is dysfunctional. Like, but T.O. was still out there producing, man. So it's like you could deal with that.
Yeah. Anthony says it's crazy that younger generation doesn't know how great the Raiders used to be.
I know, man.
It's been a long time, bro. Time. We talking
bro, a long time. I'm an old man, and I have never seen the Raiders go to the Super Bowl. I haven't seen a playoff win.
No, you've seen the Raiders go to Super Bowl like 2002.
Oh, yeah, 2002. Yeah, that's last time. Yeah, I forgot. I'm tripping. Now I've never seen them win a Super Bowl.
But you erased your memories because they got blown out, and that was just like a terrible memory.
I thought we was about to, man. When Charles Woodson picked that pass off,
when he picked that play, I was like
bro, we about to
celebrate. I was like, oh,
bro, I'm like, bro, we getting off on defense. Oh, bro, our offense about to get off. So I already know we about to. If our defense, and bro, yeah, yeah, man.
And you know people as haters when like all of a sudden, you start meeting, Tampa Bay Buck fans out of nowhere. You'd be like, what the hell? Like, since when was you a Bucks fan over here trying to? You was a hater, bro. You just hate the
hater. Just a hater.
Just a hater. AB walking off shirtless for the Bucks.
Yeah, for the Bucks, that was Then the whole stuff with Tom Brady after the fact, it's like remake the children's book about Tom Brady and his wife.
The Steelers had some dysfunctional situations.
Steelers, yeah. Most of it was AB.
AB probably plenty of times. Roethlisberger,
but Roethlisberger, that was crazy.
Roethlisberger
was crazy. Covering up from SA or some some other stuff.
Yeah. But yeah,
Steelers, but how long ago was that though?
Yeah, I know.
You feel me? How long ago was that?
I know.
You feel me, man?
Away from that, man. Hopefully, we'll be back later.
This week. Still have black hair. Yeah, that's all I know.
Yeah, for real. Hopefully, we'll be back later this week, man. Around the Shield. Check us out this Thursday. Follow us all over social media, man. Severe. Let the people know where they can find you. What to look forward to, all that good stuff.
Man, you guys know what it is, man. The Severe Raider here on YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, X, IG, Kick, Twitch, True Social, everywhere. The Severe Raider, man. Tuesdays and Thursdays with my dog PharoahNFL, the 50-50 show and Around the Shield. Wednesdays and look, starting next week, man. Sundays, the Raider Roll Room with Christian Protect the Shield and 805 Raider. I actually think 805 is going to be going to joint practice this Friday, so he might be able to give us a smooth little update next week. We're trying to get I'm trying to find a guest, man, that actually went to practice for this week for Around the Shield, man, so we can get somebody in here that actually been to the joint practices, so we can kind of see what the team was looking like. Get some real life or some firsthand reporting of that. But you guys know what to do, man. Hit the like button, subscribe, notification bells, all that good stuff. And if you're watching the video after the live, make sure you hype the video as well.
Yes, sir, man. Yeah, follow us over social media, especially Around the Shield on X and on Twitter. Obviously, subscribe, PharoahNFL, follow PharoahNFL, all social media, all that good stuff.
No wonder it's not dysfunctional, but it's just hilarious. It's Jared Verse is still doing Gabriel number. He was like, I just showed up and he had my number. I was like,
that was ruthless.
That was ruthless. Oh my God.
That's ruthless. And social media is undefeated because, like, I'm sure, like, it wasn't as bad, but it was still bad. But social media probably put it on thick, like, you know, I've seen so many
extras,
like, comments about it, and it's just hilarious. Like, the internet is undefeated. Yeah, man. I just thought about, like, man, I really haven't heard, like, the Raiders are, like, really the most dysfunctional. Well, the Jets gotta have something.
They just had the Geno stuff with the crazy woman, but that was just a crazy woman being crazy, though. But you know that.
But I'm just saying, like, in years past, like, there's nothing that the Jets did. Oh, you know, the Chiefs over the years.
The Chiefs had a few. Yeah,
getting locked.
Yeah, Rashay Rice, and then Andy Reid's son.
Yeah.
Andy Reid's son. Eric Bieniemy. Yeah, dang, there's stuff going on.
You talking about Kareem Hunt? You talking about what's the wide receiver?
Yeah. I thought that happened with Kareem Hunt before he was drafted, though. I thought before he got drafted.
There was a reason why his days with the Chiefs ended, right? The first time around.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he's still on the team, but I think he came back. But then it's not like he wasn't the same player. But I think there was some type of domestic thing that he was dealing with. But yeah, the Chiefs I think had probably a lot of the off-field stuff, but then they keep winning, so no one really cares. Didn't Sam Darnold get mono from eating? Chill, Ray, man.
Hey,
Hey,
yo, Fernando Mendoza. You know what to do, dog. You know what to do, man.
Hell no.
Look, Fernando's like, don't threaten me with a good time.
Oh, chill.
Oh, man.
Damn, man. I almost read that whole thing with a straight face.
Oh,
That's
man.
crazy. That's crazy, man. But it is the great late night show, man. Appreciate the night crew pulling up. Like I said, clock in. At this point, clock out. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell, man. We'll see y'all later this week. Hopefully we'll have more to talk about as far as what's going on with training camp. I'm not sure if they have another padded practice this week, because they had a back-to-back Monday and Tuesday of this week. So maybe they go back to like just shorts on Thursday. But hopefully, man, we'll get more updates, man, and hopefully we see some players headed in the right direction. Guys step up. And I'm really interested in seeing how, like, that offensive line, if that starting lineup changes, to be honest with you, that's gonna be big. So hopefully we're gonna keep an eye on that on top, as well as the quarterback battle and all that good stuff. Wide receivers, you know, they are what they are at this point. We just hopefully they can just carve up a role. And we all know it's the Brock Bowers show this season. But I'm not gonna lie, Severe. Like, when I brought up Genty earlier in the show, I thought like you were gonna be concerned as well, but because I'm like, damn, like I haven't heard anything about Genty.
Yeah,
nothing. I even heard Mike Washington. He looks explosive. Like, I've heard that, but I haven't heard anything with Genty.
Yeah.
And I get it. His game is a little bit more physicality with it. But I would think, like, you know, Genty with a nice reception, you know, we haven't heard a lot of
he's
that.
Not, he's not going to look explosive because he's not explosive. You know, he's not going to look shifty because he's not shifty.
According to you, but according to Mostert, he's one of the most explosive players he's ever been.
Exactly, according to Mostert, yeah.
Hey man,
yeah,
look. So it's all about perspective.
He's the most explosive player, not one of the most explosive player he's ever been around.
Yeah, man. But we up out of here, man. We'll see y'all next week, or if we don't see y'all on Thursday, obviously next week 50-50 show. But this week around the Shield, definitely tune in, man. We'll see y'all, man. Peace.